email marketing was one of the most tedious and technical things you could have ever done for your ecom brand. And you either had to hire an agency and pay them $4,000 to $6,000 to do the job for you, or you needed to hire someone in-house and train them how to do email marketing. And even in that case, they should have costed a lot more than that. And even if you wanted to do it yourself, you needed to spend hours every single day and learn how to do the technical stuff, how to learn about deliverability, how to do a high converting email design. And it was so inefficient. But in this video, I will show you how you can use Claude strategically to not only save all of the money that you should have spent to do the email marketing, but also it will save you 90% of the time, because 90% of the work is going to be done by AI. I will show you how you can plan 30 days of email campaign in just 5 minutes, how to design emails that it's going to take 1 to 2 minutes and it's going to generate a lot of money, and how to write banger copies using Claude, and how to analyze your Klaviyo account and the performance of the emails that you already sent to your email list so you can improve the performance by the time. And again, it's not going to be a very technical tutorial because 90% of the work is going to be done with AI. And you can do a better job than 70 to 80% of the agencies out there all by yourself. But most people use AI the wrong way. They go to ChatGPT, they'll ask for a generic email copy, and then they'll turn that into a generic email design. And because people are getting more skeptical about AI generated contents, they will stop opening their emails, or even worse, they're gonna mark them as spam. But we don't want to do that. We want to be ahead of the competition. So we need to use AI strategically on both writing copies and designing emails. But why email marketing is so important? Because it's the key to increase the 1 to 2% conversion rate on your website up to 10% conversion rate. You know, the problem is when people come to your website, when cold traffic comes to your website, either through paid ads or SEO or any other channel, they only have 1 to 2 minutes to consume all of the information on your website, which is impossible. People are just going to scan the content and they will not read the feedbacks of other customers. They're not going to see the before after images. They're not going to read your brand story. They're not going to watch the videos in that 2-minute session. So email marketing gives us the chance to send multiple email campaigns in a longer time horizon. So finally, we can build trust with people and then convert them through emails. But once you learn email marketing, you can generate sales out of thin air because you don't have to spend a lot of time creating content as if you were doing for social media, or you don't have to spend a lot of money on paid ads because you're using your email list that you already have, and you can make money from the people who already visited your website. And you can grow your email list by having a high converting pop-up form that we're going to talk about that in this video. But the point is, we don't want to rely on paid ads and other sales channels to make money from our website. But why you should listen to me? Because I have generated more than $40 million for my email marketing clients using all of the strategy that I'm about to reveal in this video. And also my email designs are getting millions of views across the internet on my Pinterest account, on my Behance account, and other accounts that I already have. You can also follow those accounts and get inspiration for your future emails. So in this video, I will walk you through these 5 simple modules, and you'll learn how to make money through email marketing without investing a lot of money or time. I try to keep everything as simple as possible though. So if you're just starting out, this video is for you. Also, if you know email marketing, you'll also learn how to use AI strategically to save 90% of the time, but even get better outcomes. These 5 simple steps is the key to take you from low conversion rates, from low sales, fluctuating sales, squeezed margins, to high conversion rate, more profit, less ad spend, and more reliable business because you'll have multiple channels that brings you sales every single month. And email marketing is going to have the highest ROI across all of your marketing channels. So the first thing that we want to start with is learning the strategy and how to implement a high converting strategy for an email marketing system. But let's see what is email marketing and what are the 3 main pillars of every email marketing system. Email marketing comes down into these 3 main pillars. It starts with capturing the email. So when everybody comes to your website, let's say this is your website and this is your audience, 99% of these people are going to leave because these people are considered to be cold, but we don't want to keep them cold. We want to turn them into warm audience. And we capture the emails using Popup form that I'll talk about in a minute. And then we will have warm audience. So in this case, they probably aren't so happy about us, because they don't trust us and we didn't build any trust with them. They're just cold traffic coming to our website, and we cannot expect them to be turned into warm audience in just 2 minutes. So we need a longer time frame. So we're going to capture the emails. This is the first pillar. And then we're going to send them email flows based on their behavior on the website. So let's say they just sign up for a newsletter, they're going to receive a welcome flow. I will show you what welcome flow is and other flows as well. But this is going to be the second pillar of email marketing. And once we have captured some emails, let's say once we have 4,000 to 5,000 people in our email list, we're going to start sending them email campaigns that we'll also talk about in a minute. But let's go deeper with pop-up form. Email marketing starts with pop-up form. A good pop-up form captures more emails than a mediocre pop-up form and grows your email list faster. So we want to grow our email list fast. So we want to turn a 1,000 emails in an email list to 10,000 emails in just 2 to 3 months. And the key to do that is having a high converting pop-up form. Now let's see what is a pop-up form and what are the main components of a pop-up form. First, we have the offer, we have the input, and a call to action. The reason that it's so simple is because the simple pop-up form is going to convert more people. So if you add more inputs here, let's say you ask for phone number, you ask for first name, last name, and other inputs, you're going to get higher churn rate and people are not going to invest time and put all of their information in that pop-up form. And even if you want to do that, you can create multiple steps. I will cover that in the third module, but we can create multiple steps. Like in the first one, we're going to ask for email. In the second one, we're going to ask for their first name. And in the third one, we can ask about their last name or other information like phone number. So once we capture their email, we need to send them email flows. Email flow is something that you set it up once, and it's going to be sent out to these people automatically. Now let's see what is an email flow. Once we capture the emails, we will reach out to the email subscribers based on their behaviors using email flows. So let's say they just subscribe to our email list. We just captured their email. They're going to receive the welcome flow. We have multiple email flows. Each of them have different job. We'll cover that in the next modules. These 3 email flows are the main ones. The welcome flow, once everyone enters our email list, they're going to receive the welcome flow. Once anyone adds something to their cart or they proceed to the checkout, they're going to receive abandoned cart flow or abandoned checkout flow. And finally, once they make a purchase on our website, they're going to go through the post-purchase flow. And all of these email flows are going to bring engagement and they're going to make sales, and we can capture reviews from buyers and other stuff. The goal of having email flows is to increase the engagement and the conversion rate of our website funnel. And compare that with a system that there's no email marketing backend for it. And people just spend 2 minutes on a website and they're going to churn and we'll have no way to reach out to them later on. So this is how each of these email flows could look like depending on your strategy and what you want to talk about in each email. This could be a welcome email. We have a strong offer on top of the email, and this offer needs to match this pop-up form offer. So if you're offering a free gift, you need to match that with this offer here. So this one should be a free gift as well. And if you're offering 10% off, 20% off, you want to make sure that the pop-up form offer and the welcome flow offer are the same. And this is an abandoned cart flow. So we're going to show what people left in their cart to create somehow urgency and personalization to take them back to the website to finish their purchase. And finally, this is a post-purchase flow that we want to use it to increase the loyalty. We want to push people to make a second or third purchases or bring referrals or capturing testimonials and also creating a better experience for our customers. But don't worry, you don't have to be a designer to create these email designs. We're going to use Claude Design and Figma Agent to design emails in a snap. So each email flow can have multiple emails inside. So let's say for welcome flow, it's not that we only create one single email. There should be multiple emails in your welcome flow or abandoned cart flow or other flows that we talk about in next modules. And each of these emails need to cover a certain pain point or answer a common question, or you can compare your product with competitors and sharing the testimonial of other buyers on your website. So let's say a person signs up for your newsletter, they're going to receive the first email after 1 day or 2 days. They're going to receive the second one, third one, and so on. And each of these can be sent with certain time delay that you define in Klaviyo or other ESPs. And this takes us to third pillar of email marketing, which is email campaign. So as we grow our email list, we can start sending emails to our email list. And unlike flows that are going to be sent out automatically and work on the back end, we can create email campaigns manually. So let's say you can send 1 email campaign per week, you can send 2 email campaigns per week, 3 and even 4 email campaigns per week, depending on how much engagement you're getting on your emails and how much your content is resonating with your audience. Sending email campaigns regularly allows us to generate sales on demand. So we need to have multiple email campaigns to be sent every single week. And in order to do that, we need to have a strong campaign calendar. Many people make campaign calendars difficult to use, difficult to create. They're gonna integrate multiple platforms together, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to use some of the simple tools that you already have, like Google Calendar, and we're gonna connect it to Claude, and we're gonna create a strong campaign calendar for your brand. Campaign ideas. Each campaign covers a specific pain point, use cases, common questions, current seasons, events, or holidays. It can also be a product launch or an update about your products or brand to your audience. Each email campaign can focus on providing value, promoting an offer, or both. Let's see some examples of email campaigns. In this case, we have Groon's email redesign, and it's giving value. We don't have any offer here like this one. And the idea of this email is how easy it is to consume this product on daily basis. And we are using infographics, we are showing some testimonials to create credibility and things like that. Also, each email comes down to different sections. Here you can see that we are talking about the ingredients, and here we have some social proof to create credibility and so on. And in this case, which is mainly focused on giving promo, is about Black Friday, and we are stating the offer on top of the email. And then we have the call to action and the coupon code and 2 of the bestseller products on the website. And finally, we have a testimonial here. This is another case that is focusing on value. So this is about creatine gummies, and the goal is comparing these creatine gummies with normal creatine powders. And we are directly comparing each other with this infographic. And finally, we have some icons and this final button that people can click and go to the website and make a purchase. But don't worry about planning the email campaigns and finding the ideas, because we're going to use Claude to plan 30 days of email campaigns in just 5 minutes. And also we're going to use Claude to generate best email campaign ideas. Now let's go practical and do something with Claude. So in order to create any email design or planning email campaigns, we need to create a brand book. So every time we're going to ask Claude to plan our email campaigns for the next 30 days, we want to make sure that it understands our brand completely. We don't want it to guess about the brand, guess about the best products. We don't want it to guess about our ICP and all that stuff. So I'll go to my Claude account. You can use free Claude as well. You don't need to have the paid version. And the first thing that I would like to do is I want to provide my brand guideline. So I assume that you already have a brand guideline, and even if you don't, you can just give all of the information available about your ICP or brand design or any kind of information that introduces your brand to the AI. So in this case, you can see this is a brand guideline. It's talking about how the logos should look like, how the language should be, and also we're going to define the ICP in this brand guideline. So I upload my brand guideline into Claude, and also I will provide the URL to my website. I will put it here, and also just to make sure that it has direct access to all of the contents in my website, I will open the website and I will copy all of the content, and I will come back here and I'll paste it here. So we have all of the content on the website. And also I want to give it some additional information about ICP and things like that. Let's say my ICP is woman between 18 to 50. I use before after images to show the results of my products. I have a lot of testimonials I can share with my audience. And that's it. The more information you give to any AI platform, the better outcome you get when we want to use it for writing copies or planning the email campaigns. And then I will say, write me a brand book that I can feed any AI tool to give me the best copies or strategies for my email marketing. and I will hit enter. Also, here's some more information that you can provide to Claude to get a better understanding about your brand and ICP. So the first thing was brand guidelines, and the second one is website content. We provided both of these contents to Claude. And then we have client feedback on the website. So you can go through all of the testimonials that you have on your website, and you can provide Claude with these testimonials. And then we have customer support tickets. So this is about the common questions that people ask about your products. You can use your support tickets or your website chat. And if you have best performing ads or contents on social media that you can provide to Claude, you can get even better results. And also you can provide blog posts. These are some of the information that you can use to feed any AI platform. It might be ChatGPT or Claude to get better outcomes. But in copywriting module, we're going to learn how to feed AI with these content, with this brand book that we want Claude to generate for us to get the banger email copies and email campaign strategies. Okay, I'll go back to Claude, and as you can see, it has generated our brand book. So let me make sure you can see the entire screen here. So we can read some of the text here. Herbal brand book for AI-assisted email marketing. Paste this whole document into any AI tool, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and we have brand snapshot. We have ideal customer profiles, gender, mindset, motivation, tone of voice, and all that stuff. So we can download this file, and later on when we want to write copies and email campaign ideas, we can use this file. So I will save it, and I want to make sure that I put it somewhere that I can get access to this later on. So once you save this brand book, we can go to the next module, which is the most important one. Okay, now let's start module 2. This is the most important module, and make sure to understand every single part of this module. I know in some parts of this module it might get boring, but this is actually what separates you from your competitors and helps you make more money from emails in future. So how do we sell through emails? In the past, you should have spent days planning and designing emails. But now we're using Claude to generate the ideas, find the best angles to send emails to our customers, writing copies and designing emails. So here's a simple 6-step process that we're gonna take every time we wanna create any email design. First, we wanna feed Claude with the right content and also the brand book that we just generated in module 1. And then we're gonna ask for different angles for email. Like if you wanna create an email for New Year sale, we're going to ask for multiple angles, and then we can pick few of these email ideas, and then we can write a copy and so on. So we take the best angles, we write the copy, we ask Claude to write the copy actually, and then we're going to design the email using AI, either Claude Design or Figma AI. And finally, we're going to implement in Klaviyo. But before starting the process, we need to know how to write compelling copy for our email designs. And if you don't know the general rules of writing copy for email marketing, you can never tell AI to make you the best copies. You can never define a good and bad copy. And because all of your competitors are using generic AI slop copies for their emails, if you learn this, you will get 5 to 10 times more sales with your emails. And I know it's boring, but if we don't have a good copy and angle, it doesn't matter how fancy and great our email design is, it's so hard to make any sales with emails. And now let's talk about copywriting. So copywriting in email marketing is a bit different from writing copies for ads or website funnels or other marketing channels. And nobody really talks about this. And make sure to watch this entire module. It's gonna set you apart from the competition. So people take action to relieve a pain they're either experiencing now or to avoid a possible pain in the future. So no matter what you're selling, always ask yourself, what pain am I helping this person to relieve or to avoid a future pain? Let's see some of the examples of the pain that your audience are experiencing at the moment, depending on what you're selling. So the first one would be lack of self-confidence. So if you're selling fashion or clothing, people want to think that people buy these clothes or fashion products for some crazy reasons, but actually the reason they take action or buy a clothing or a jewelry, it might be lack of self-confidence. So maybe they've been in their friends' gathering and they thought that their clothing wasn't as cool as their friends. It might be some reason, it might be a certain pain, or let's say you're selling supplements. you're not giving them high energy, you're solving the low energy issue for these people. Or if you're selling mattresses, like sleeping products that help people to sleep better, you're actually helping them to solve the bad sleep or sleep issues. Or they might have afternoon crash, and your product is solving that problem. They might have relation issues. So these are some of the pains that your customer might be experiencing at the moment. So when we talk about finding the pain points, these are some examples of the pains that your customers are experiencing at the moment. Now let's see some of the future pains. Random accidents, skin damages. So let's say you're selling sunscreen. You want to talk about how sunlight is going to damage your skin and it's irreversible, so you can use this product for these reasons to avoid that skin damage that is irreversible. Or getting hacked in the future, or penalties and things like that. So these are some examples of future pains. Whenever you want to write any copy for your email, you want to understand the pains that your customers are experiencing now, or maybe they're gonna experience in the future. But talking about the pain points is not enough. You still need to answer a few questions that people can trust what you're promising them. Now let's look at the value equation from Alex Hormozy. So we have dream outcome on top, and then we have perceived likelihood of achievement, and we have time delay and effort and sacrifice at the bottom of the equation. And all of these variables are going to define the value of what you are promising them or what you're offering to your audience in your email list. So first, let's talk about the dream outcome. So let's say you're selling mattresses or adjustable bed. The dream outcome is not just to have a better sleep. In order to have a higher dream outcome or more valuable dream outcome, you want to tell them if they don't fix their sleeping issues in like few months or a few years, how it can affect their relationship, how it can affect their working hours, and how they're gonna feel during the day. It's gonna be bad, probably bad, right? So the higher dream outcome we have, the better. We're gonna create a huge gap from what they are now to what we are trying to take them. So if you're trying to help them to have better sleep, don't just tell them to buy this product and you're gonna have better sleep. Create that huge gap. And then we have perceived likelihood of achievement. What this means in email marketing. So you're promising a very valuable offer, right? You're picturing the future, you're gonna have high energy. By fixing your sleep, you're gonna have higher energy, you're gonna be more productive and things like that. But how likely they're gonna trust your word that you're promising them? This is where we can use social proof or experiences of other customers to show them that this product actually works, this solution actually works. This is how we create credibility. And then we have time delay and sacrifice. So these two at the bottom of the equation, we want these variables to be as low as possible. So we want it to be fast. We don't want it to take 1 year to see the results. In the sleeping examples, if your adjustable bed and your mattress is going to help them, or even sleeping supplement, it's going to take them 1 year to consume every single day to see the results. It's not that valuable, right? If it's going to take few days to see a result, make sure to tell them it's only going to take 1 week or 4 days to see the actual results. But never lie on this part and never tell them, like, if it's going to take 2 weeks to see a result, never overpromise them by saying that it's going to only take 1 week, because you're ruining the credibility that way. And that's hard to retain customers that way, especially if you're selling on subscription basis. And then effort and sacrifice also needs to be as low as possible. So let me give you an example for this part. If you're selling a supplement that is going to take 1 year to consume the product, also they need to go to the gym every single day and they're gonna work out hard, it's not that valuable, right? But if you have a supplement that they just need to take it for 2 weeks or 1 week to see the results without needing to going to work out in the gym and all that stuff, it is going to be much more valuable. No matter what problem you're trying to solve, you need to answer the following questions for your recipients before writing any email to your email list. What is the dream outcome? Few more examples on this one. We just covered the sleeping issues, but let's say you sell sunscreen again. You shouldn't just tell them that this product, this sunscreen is going to save you from sunlight. You should tell them that how devastating sunlight is to their skin and how it's irreversible. You want to create a huge gap between where they are now without your product to where they're going to be with your product. So if they use this sunscreen, they're going to protect their skin. It's going to save them a lot of money, and it's going to save them their look and skin and things like that. So create a huge gap for this part of the equation. And then how likely are they going to get the results, and how much are they going to trust your words? And we can also use the word of scientists and things like that to create credibility. for this part of the equation. And then the other two questions are about these two variables at the bottom of the equation. How long it is going to get. If it only takes 1 week, just say that in the email. You want to make sure that you mention that. If it's not taking a lot of effort to see the results, you also want to mention this inside the email copy. So it doesn't matter what you're selling, you're always solving a problem. Let's see a few examples here. Skincare, you're solving skin issues. Fashion, solving self-confidence, status, self-expression. Supplement. For supplement brands, you're solving low energy, bad sleep, performance, things like that. Let's say you're selling home goods. This one is a hard one. You're not helping them to create a fancy home. You're actually helping them to not have a boring space. Food or snack brand. You're helping with their cravings, nutrition gaps, and things like that. So these are the pains that you're trying to solve. Now let's talk about awareness funnel. So in marketing in general, we have 5 different awareness stages in this funnel that you can see in this funnel. First, we have no idea, which means people who don't even know that they have some issue. Like the person might have some sleeping issue and they're not even aware of that. The next stage is problem aware. So these people know that they have problem issues, but they don't know if there's any solution for that. And then we have solution aware. So these people know that they have sleeping issues, that there are some solutions for that. After that, we have product aware and customers. So this might be the people who already bought from your website, and these people are the ones who are skeptical about your product, and they're also analyzing your competitor's product and things like that. But in email marketing, we usually don't have access to these people, because this is where you reach out to people through ads or SEO or other marketing channels. This is how you target these people. But in email marketing, we usually only have access to these 3 different stages in our email list. Because if someone came to our website and they opted in for our newsletter, so they probably know that they have this pain, right? So we shouldn't write the email copies as if we are trying to reach out to people who don't have any idea about their pain point yet. So we're going to target these 3 different stages. Solution aware, so these people know that, like for the sleeping issues, they know that they have this problem, they know there is a solution. So if you want to target these people in your email list, you're going to talk about how your adjustable bed or how your mattresses is actually going to help them with the sleeping issues. You're going to share the experience or stories of other customers and things like that. And then we have product aware. So these people are in your email list. They are comparing your products with your competitors, and we're going to use different contents for these people. And finally, we have customers. So let's say if you're selling CPG or any type of product that is not single purchases, you have customers in your email list and you can push them to buy again and again. So in order to convert people in each of these stages, you'll need to use a unique approach. And the higher people are in this funnel, so the higher they are, it's going to take longer for them to get converted. But most of your competitors are actually sending discounts all the time. What this means is they usually only target very small fraction of their email list. And this part is going to left untouched. So almost 50 to 60% of their email list, the message doesn't resonate with them. So if you're only giving discount to your email list, you're just pushing people either for repeated purchases, or you're just giving the final reason for people who are skeptical. But what about the people who are not sure that your solution is actually going to work, or they need more questions? Is there any refund if I don't see the results? Is there any guarantee? Are other people's use your products? So these are the type of contents that you want to use to convert these people. And it's not possible to send discount to these people and expect them to buy our products. So we don't want to only focus on promotional emails. So people in stage 3 and 4 usually have a lot of objections and questions that need to be addressed to build trust with them. So this is stage 3, solution aware, and stage 4, which is product aware. So we can't only send them discount emails and expect them to get converted. Now let's see some examples of the emails that we send to these people to convert them. You probably see a lot of these discount emails, but this is actually how you can reach out to people who are a bit skeptical about your solution or your product. This is how you make a lot of money from your emails compared to your competitors who just focus on getting repeated purchases or giving discounts and covering a fraction of their email list. So this brand is selling adjustable beds, and in this email, we are focusing on a specific pain point. So one of their main pain point is having back pain, right? So we are mentioning the pain point on top of the email. You can see back pain, meet your match. Now we are talking about how our solution is going to help them to fix that back pain. So you can't see any discounts here. We are not saying 20% off or buy this, get one free, or buy two, get one free. We're not talking about that. We're just focusing on a pain point. And then we dig deeper into the pain point. We are comparing the common solution, which is flat mattresses, with adjustable supports or adjustable beds and adjustable mattresses. We are directly comparing that, like spine alignment. You get this feature with your product, and common solution doesn't have that feature. Pressure points, morning sniff, and these are all of the things that we can help them with our product. And also here we are talking about more features of the product. The next email is using science-backed facts to tell them how this solution is actually going to work. So on top of the email, we are saying science behind better sleep. Discover how elevation helps your body to relax. So this email is actually going to build trust with these people. So in the third stage, these people are solution aware. They know that adjustable bed or mattresses probably are going to help them. But now we are using science facts to show them how actually this product is going to work for them. So we're giving them a peace of mind that this product is actually backed by science. And we are talking about better breathing, less strength, and calmer nights begins with our products. And also here we are sharing the feedback of a credible person. Head elevation reduces the airway collapse during sleep medicine review. So this is actually a scientific fact, and we are sharing this type of content with people to build trust with them. It takes us to the next email, testimonial and social proof. So we're going to use the user-generated content. In that Alex Hormozi equation, if you remember that, we had this part which is called perceived likelihood of achievement. So this email is trying to reassure people that this product is actually going to work because other people try that and they're seeing the results. So we are sharing all of these images from other buyers, and we have created a specific email around that idea to build trust with people. So we have all of these images on the top of the email, and then we have direct testimonials from our customers and so on. After that, we have final stage, which is fifth level of awareness in our funnel, which is this one. And these people are our customers. These people already paid us money and they bought something from us. If you have high AOV or if your product is one-time purchases, you should approach to these people differently compared to a brand that is not one-time purchases. So if you're selling mattresses, for example, you can still reach out to these people, but you shouldn't push them to buy another mattress. It doesn't make sense. You should upsell accessories for like mattress covers or headboards, cooling bundles, or any other stuff that you can upsell to these people. Or if you have something that is not one-time purchases, let's say these creatine gummies, you can sell these products multiple times to people who already bought from your website. You can also put them into a subscription basis that they can receive the product without coming to your website again. Also, fashion brands, clothing brands, and skincare brands are actually selling something that is not one-time purchases, and they can sell to that part of their email list again and again. And it's much easier to sell to those people who already trusted you and bought from your website compared to selling to a new stranger on your website. And here are some examples of the emails that you can send to your email list, whether you want to push them to buy for the second or third time, or you want to convert them for the first time. Okay, on these three examples, we focused on the variables on top of the equation, but how we can show people the time delay and effort and sacrifice inside the email. So here's a few examples. We're still in the copywriting part. In the email design part, we will talk more about how we can implement these type of charts and infographics and things like that. But here you can see that we are showing a 3-week time delay on starting from once they use the product and how soon they're going to see the results. We're creating this timeline. Week 1, noticeable shift within minutes. Week 2, 84% fell asleep faster. Week 3, 91% released long-held tension, which is for these products that it's about having better sleep and things like that. Here's another example. You can use these infographics and these simple graphs to show the timeline, how much it's going to take for them. We want to keep this as short as possible, but never overpromise. Here's another example at the top of the email. We are again showing this graph 30 days from now. And also this one is even more creative. So without this fork, this is how your muscle tension and things like that are going to be if you don't use this tuning fork. And this green line is actually showing you how you will be after that 30 days. But how do we write copy with Claude? So if you want to get a banger copy or email campaign ideas from any AI tool, doesn't matter if you want to use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or any other AI tool, it always comes down to these 4 simple steps. First, we want to make sure that we feed the AI with the right content, and we want to ask the AI to ask us the right questions so it gets even better idea about what we're trying to do. So first, we will feed the AI tool, and then we'll ask for some ideas about the content, about the campaign, or about the email flow that we want to create. And finally, we will ask for the actual copy. And after that, we're going to save the copy, which we'll talk about that in module 3. But now let's quickly see how we can write an email copy inside Claude. So I will go to my Claude account. First of all, I want to make sure that I fit it with the brand book that we generated in module 1. And then I will say, I want to create email campaign. Give me some ideas. Read the brand book and ask me a few questions about, and then I will take a screenshot from this value equation and I will paste it here. So ask me a few questions to find the best value based on value equation I attached. And then we will hit enter. So the good thing about Claude is that it has this built-in quiz feature, so you can answer the questions easily without needing to write every single answer. So what is the main goal of this email campaign? New customer acquisition, re-engagement, retain past customer. Convert existing subscribers to first purchase. I'll choose that one. Which lever matters most right now? Where's the biggest gap in your current emails? So if you want to have like testimonials, you can choose this one. If you want to focus on dream outcome, you can choose this one, time delay. Let's say we want to have a graph like one of these. So I can choose time delay. Any product or bundle you want this campaign built around. I will say a bundle. I can actually give the link to the product page of the bundle to get even better outcome. And now we have some ideas that we can use any of this to generate the email. It's just about the idea now. It didn't generate the copy yet. So let's see. The first one is about what happens to your skin in the first 2 hours, because we ask to dig into this part of the equation, the time delay. This is why you can see most of these email ideas are talking about that point. So the next one is more focusing on social proof. Sophia didn't believe it either. These type of email campaigns work very well. If you have some testimonials that give a story like this, it will be a banger. We will have a testimonial there. This is based on the contents that we fed AI with the current contents on the website. That's why you can see this testimonial here. The ritual, not the routine. 5 products, 1 10-minute ritual. Again, it's talking about a very short time period that they use the product. Still deciding, here's what your skin already knows. Short, calm, retreats the 6-hour hydration stats. Short, calm, reassert the 6-hour hydration stat as the closing argument. And for example, if I like this first one, I can say, write me email copy for email 1. And also I want to give some more instruction about how to write copies. We're going to cover this deeper in module 3, but we can say this email is going to be designed, so make sure to separate it in different sections. It would be the best if we have a graph if needed, like one of these graphs. And then I will hit enter. So here's an email copy. We can copy this text and put it into Figma AI agent or even in Claude Design to generate the email design that we're going to talk about in the next section of this tutorial. But actually in module 3, we're going to see how we can generate email campaign copies in bulk so we don't have to back and forth with AI every single time. And then in the final step of writing copy, we want to save them into a write campaign calendar so we don't have to command AI every single time. We just spend 5 to 10 minutes to write the copies, like planning for next 30 days, and then we're going to save it into our campaign calendar. We're going to connect Google Calendar into our Claude account. Okay, now it takes us to the next section, which is about designing emails. It's probably the most interesting part of the whole tutorial. Designing emails used to be a tedious task, and you should have spent hours every single day designing emails if you wanted to do it in-house. And if you wanted to hire an agency, it would have costed a lot, like $4,000 to $6,000 a month to do the job for you. But now we can use Claude Design or Figma Design to design an email in just 5 minutes without having any design skill at all. Designing every single email comes down into these 4 simple steps, and it's almost the same as writing copies. It started with feeding, but when we wanted to feed Claude for writing copy, we gave text inputs. But here we will give visual inputs. So we want to make sure that Claude understands how our brand guidelines is and how the overall UI of the website is. And this way we're going to get the best possible outcome for our email design. So every brand has its own visuals. In this case, for this website, you can see that we have a unique font for the headline, we have a unique font for the descriptions, we have certain colors for call to action buttons for the background, and we have these curving shapes here, also the color of the headline, and also these icons, you can see they have unique style. So every email design needs to follow their brand, the brand's brand guideline. In order to do that, we want to make sure that we feed AI with the right visual contents. So once we feed AI with the right content, then we're going to design the email. This is probably the easiest one in these steps, and we can just generate the design, and then it takes us to third step, which is tweaking the email. Because in most cases, AI is not going to give you something that is 100% aligned with your preferences. So we'll still need to do some adjustments to make sure the design looks good and we can send it to our email list. And the final step is about exporting the email. Depending on what platform you're using to design the email, it can be a direct export into Klaviyo, or we have to manually export it and compress the images and then launch it as either a campaign or an email flow. So here's some AI generated email designs. You can see every single email design has different components. So the first section of every email design is called hero section. This is where we want to mention the pain point. This is where we want to put the best images, because in 80% of the times, people usually just see the hero section and they'll decide whether they want to scroll through the email or they want to close the email. So this is make it or break it part for every email design. We want to make sure that our hero section is dominant and is focusing on pain points. The image is relevant to the headline and all that stuff. But before going to Claude and start designing emails, I want to share this 5-step checkbox so you can make sure whether your email is going to perform well or not. There are 5 questions that we need to ask for every email design that we make and we want to send it to our email list. The first question is the topic clear? So let's see some of these examples. So anyone who opens our email, we want to make sure that they understand what this email is about. We don't want to confuse them, because if you confuse them, they're going to close the email and they will not give us the chance to read the content. If the headline is not clear, if the pain point that we are mentioning in the headline is not resonating with the audience, people are going to close our email no matter how good our email design is. The second question is the topic interesting? So when anyone opens the email, we want to make sure that we either giving them a value or a special offer. So people want to invest time to see the content and they either give us the chance and click the email and make a purchase, or they'll decide to leave the email. The third question, is it easy to consume? So this is very important. Let me show you actually some of the bad examples of email designs. These are some bad examples of email designs. Anyone who opens this email, first of all, they don't have any clear understanding of what this email is actually about. The headline isn't clear, it's not interesting, there's only a product image here, and these texts are very small. And it's so hard to consume this email. There's no infographic, there's nothing. But in this case, you can see that the first image is really interesting. They're comparing these pet food products with real meat and real foods. And actually this was a GIF. We're in Figma and it doesn't show the GIF. And then we have this comparison section, which is very cool. And this type of graphics makes it very easy for people to consume the email. So imagine we had like 10 lines of text here and we were comparing their product with their competitor in just pure text, something like this. It would have been so confusing and people don't invest time to read all of that stuff. But when we use infographic like this and we're comparing it in this direct comparison, it's so easy for people to understand what we mean. And in this other example, you can see that we are mentioning the ingredients as different icons. And also here we are visualizing these percentages of information in different cards. So it makes it easy for people to consume the email. We want to make sure that we never put a lot of text inside the email, which is hard to read. So that's the third question. The first question is there a reason to buy now? So this is about urgency, and we can always give some reason for people to act now. It's not about giving a timer or a countdown or telling people that we are running stuck and we fake the urgency. You can always use urgency as an opportunity that people can take advantage of right now. For example, in the sunscreen product example, instead of telling people that the offer is about to expire in 2 days or in 48 hours, we can also do that, but we can tell them that if you don't act now and if you don't buy a sunscreen now, the sunlight is going to damage your skin and the damage is irreversible, if that makes sense. So this is how we can use real urgency to make people to act now, because people don't want to buy now. They don't want to act now. They want to do it in future. They want to buy in the future. So we need to give a reason for people to act right away. And the final question is it optimized? Let me show you an example. So this is an example of an email that is optimized on mobile. As you can see, the call to actions are visible, image is visible. You can read the content, especially these texts, all of them are readable. So we always want to make sure that people can consume or email in their mobile phone. So if you think about people reading or email in their phones, we never want to write text that are very small like this. We always want to make sure that it's readable even in smallest possible device. All right, enough talking. Now let's start designing some emails using Claude Design. And after that, I will use Figma AI, which is my favorite way of designing emails because it gives us a lot of flexibility on doing adjustments and tweaking the email designs. But we're going to start with Claude Design because that's the hot platform to use at the moment to do the email designs. Very quick, if you don't have time to manage your email marketing, you can come to my website, bigbangflow.com. You can see multiple testimonials here, and there are many case studies here. You can see the results that my clients are getting from my service, and then you can scroll all the way down and submit this free email marketing audit form, and we can talk about the possibility to help you with your email marketing. Now back to the video. So I will go to my Claude account, and in the left panel, I will click on design. This will take us to Claude Design. Now, before designing an email, we need to create a design system in Claude. So I will click on this drop down and I will click on this plus icon to create a new design system. And then I will click on create here. So before designing any email, we need to give enough context to Claude Design to make sure it will give us something useful. This is actually the feeding step, and we're going to give some visual information about our brand or brand guideline or website design and all that stuff. So here you can add your fonts, logos here. You can link this to your GitHub if you have one. You can put your Figma file here if you have designed your email inside Figma. But here I will only provide a screenshot from my website, and I think that's going to do the job to make everything simple. So I'll go back to this website. Let's say we want to create an email design for this website. I have this extension that is called Go Full Page. And once you click on that, you can install this on Chrome. It's free. And once you click on that icon, it will take an entire screenshot from all of the website. So once we have this screenshot, I will download this and I will upload this into Claude. So I have my screenshot here and I will upload it here. I'll drag it and I will drop it right here. You can also give your font files, you can give it the logos and all that stuff. But I will leave it as it is and I will hit continue and I'll click on generate. Okay, the design system is now created, and if I scroll down in this page, you can see that we have the logo here, we have the divider here, we have background colors, flavor essence, brand greens, and we have everything about their brands by just taking a screenshot from their website, which is nice. And also we have the call to actions, we have the button styles and colors, and we have everything here. Now we're going to use this design system to generate a simple welcome email. And we don't even want to use the copy that we just generated. I want to show you how easy it is to generate an email just by having a screenshot from a website in Claude Design. So I will go back to Claude Design, and here we want to make sure that we choose the same design system that we have here. We want to make sure that the names are identical, and then I will ask for a welcome email design. with 10% offer. Now, in order to get even better results, Claude asks us few questions. The first one is, who's this welcome email for? So we're going to say for new subscribers, what is the main action you want them to take? Shop and take the 10% off code. How should the 10% offer be presented? Big promo code. Which sections should the email include? Hero offer. So let's say I'll choose this one. I will choose these two. Email width. I will say, let's keep it 600 pixels. Actually, when I design emails and I add 1080 pixels for the width, people come to me and they lose their mind, and they'll say, why don't you use 600 pixel for the width? But if you just go to Google and search for what is the width of an iPhone, you can see that the width of an iPhone is more than 1000 pixels. So if you generate your emails in 600 pixels, it will be pixelated on modern mobile phones. And that 600 pixel is for old days. And the final question is, how many design options would you like? I will choose 2. So we have more options that we can decide which one to use. And then we'll see how the design is going to look like. Okay, our email design is generated. Actually, our email designs, because there are 2 versions here. And as you can see, although it messed up these images, but the overall look is pretty much identical to their website, which is a very cool thing. As you can see, these colors, icons, all of them look very similar, but we might want to change some of the images to make it look even better. But something about the Claude design that I don't really like is that it's so hard to change the elements and move everything around. That's why I prefer using Figma. That I will show you how to use that as well in a minute. But now let's see how we can update these images here. So I will click on edit. I will choose this image and I will go to their website. Let's say I want to use maybe this website. I will save it in my desktop. And I'll go back here and I will replace this image with this one. We can also increase the height. So as you can see, we have a clear view on this image here. And then we have this button, we have this coupon code, which is nice. And we can also update this image here as well. Maybe we want to use another image. Let me see if I can download this one, but let me take this image. Actually, this looks pretty much cool. So I will save it in my desktop and I will select this image and I will upload that image here. So I'll choose it. And as you can see, this one actually looks very cool. And yeah, we can download the PNG version and upload it in Klaviyo, which we are going to cover in module 4, where we cover everything on implementation on Klaviyo. But if you want to download this, you can select the frame. You should click on share and then click on more formats and click PNG and click save. So I will click on share, click on more formats, and I will click PNG. And then I will select my main frame here and I will click download. This is how you can download and export your email designs from Claude, and then we can compress the image and add it into Klaviyo, which we are going to cover that in module 4. But just to show you how the downloaded version looks like, I can open this email and you can see it looks very nice. Now let's go to Figma and generate an email here. So we're going to use this agent feature. You'll need to have the paid version of Figma to do that. So let me go back to their website again and I will take a screenshot from the entire page. And this time we're going to use this on Figma agent. And again, we can just download the image the same way as we did for Claude, and then I will drag and drop it here. We can create skills in Figma. Like if you want to use same commands every time, you can create a new skill, like creating one from scratch. You can click on that plus icon and here you can call it email designer, something like that. And we wanted to design email for us. Design clean emails. And then in the instruction, you can say different things like rule 1, make sure every email contains 3 to 6 sections. Rule 2, make sure the hero section looks nice. Maybe adding another rule. Each section needs a clear, short, punchy headline. Maybe adding another, the final rule. If needed, add relevant icons to any of the sections needed. And then I will click on add. And now we can use this skill to generate an email design without needing to reprompt this agent every single time. Okay, our screenshot is being uploaded here. And here I can add a slash and choose my skill called email designer. So our screenshot is uploaded, but Figma doesn't have the identical version of design system that we had on Claude, but it has something even better. So you can attach a Figma file. Like if you have multiple email designs or you have your website designs in Figma, you can easily attach that file here. So it has clear understanding on your design system. And now I will say, generate me a welcome email with 10% off. Okay, the design is generated here, but you might argue that Claude did a better job with the design. But there's few things about Figma that I would rather to stay in Figma and generate my emails using AI in Figma. The first thing is that we didn't link Figma agents to a specific file, to a specific Figma file containing multiple email designs and multiple design elements that it can get reference from those. So it can get a clear understanding about our design system and elements. So if we do that, we will get better outcome. But another thing about Figma that I really like is that it's much easier to play around with the elements here compared to Claude. And also other thing that I like about Figma is that this is a design tool and you have much more flexibility when you want to remove backgrounds and you want to generate elements and do a lot of things that is much easier to do in a design platform. But Claude is not necessarily created for designers. So because of those reasons, I would prefer to stay in Figma. Now let's see how we can play around with elements here and have a better email design. So let me go back to their website and let's see what images I can find here that I can use. So I can copy this image and here, let me go back in the left side. And in the right panel, I will click on this image. I can easily replace this image with this one. And then I will set the alignment to be different. But let me actually do some edits here. And I will click this section and I will add a, let me first remove that black overlay color and I will add a background. And the color needs to match this color here. And also, let me upload this image again. I want to show you some features in Figma that allows you to have even better email designs that you might have a hard time doing the same things in Claude. Like if I click on this remove background option, you can see that it uses AI to remove the background easily. And now let's see what I want to do with this image. I'll add it here and I want to create a cool overlay effect. So it's like these products are on top of this layout here. It looks much cooler than the first version. And we have these icons here, but maybe we can update the color of this section to this yellow color on top. And we can play around with buttons and other parts of the design. But this is how we design emails using AI in both Claude and Figma. So in the next module, we're going to go through all of the different accounts and we'll learn how to create every single account from scratch. And then we'll integrate those accounts together so we have access through Claude to Klaviyo and we also have access to other different accounts. Okay, let's move on to module 3. In this module, we're going to learn how to find the best ESP, how to set up our ESP account. We're going to use Klaviyo in this tutorial, and then we'll set up all the technical settings in Klaviyo account. We're going to connect it to our Shopify account, and then we're going to connect our Klaviyo account to the Claude account. So we have direct access to all of the information and data inside our email marketing system. And finally, we're going to create a campaign calendar for our email marketing newsletters in order to send email campaigns consistently so we can generate sales on demand. We're going to use Claude to write the copies, to ideate the email campaigns. Then we're going to save email campaigns into Google Calendar, and we're going to use Figma AI to design the emails. And finally, we're going to export every single email campaign into Klaviyo. So we just learned how to write copies and how to design emails using AI. Now we need to set up our ESP account. It doesn't matter if you want to use Omnisend, Klaviyo, MailChimp, all of them almost share the same settings and preferences. But if you have an ecom brand, you want to make sure that you use Klaviyo because they have all of the options needed to create a strong and efficient email marketing system. And it's specifically designed for ecom brands. So here's the 4 simple steps that we're going to follow in the next few minutes. We're going to set up our Klaviyo account, and then we will connect the Klaviyo account to Shopify. After that, we're going to turn on the embedding to make sure that we have the right integration between Shopify and Klaviyo. And finally, we're going to set up branded domain to make sure that Klaviyo uses our domain to send the emails to avoid landing in spam folders. So in order to create a Klaviyo account, I will go to Google and I will search Klaviyo sign up. I will click on the Klaviyo website. Here I will put in my email address, and then for the password I will say something random, and I will hit continue, and I will add my Shopify store URL. So this is my website. Let's say something random. I choose something random for the company name, and for the phone number I will just put something random here. You want to make sure you use your phone number because you'll have trouble accessing your Shopify account if you don't. How you will be using Klaviyo for my own business, sign up for Klaviyo marketing promotion. You don't need to check any of those boxes. And then I will click on create account. Now I will make sure that my Shopify URL is correct, and then I will click continue. Okay, now we need to integrate Klaviyo with our Shopify account, so I will click continue. And here you just need to add your physical address, city, and country. And here you want to update your sender name. We can say like contact and the sender email address. It doesn't really matter here. So once we set up the branded domain, we can send using any possible email address. So it really doesn't matter. So I will click continue here. Here I just want to leave email to be checked, and then I will hit continue. And we need to activate our email. We need to verify our email. So I will go to my inbox, and here I will click on confirm email. I'm inside my inbox. So I will click on that. And now we have our Klaviyo account activated. You can start as a paid plan right away. But if you have very small list, like below 300 people, you can use the free plan. Okay, we just created the Klaviyo account. We connected the Klaviyo to Shopify. Now we need to turn on the embedding. But first, we need to make sure that we installed Klaviyo on our Shopify account. So I will click on Add in the left panel, and you'll click on this download icon. And here you can click on Install, and then you'll be prompted to install the Klaviyo on your Shopify account. Now, in order to turn on the app embedding in Shopify, in the left panel in my Shopify store, I will click on Online Store, and then I will click on Edit Theme. Now here in the left panel on top header, click on this app embeds, and here you can find Klaviyo JavaScript. You can turn it on, and then you can click save, and we're done. Now we turned on the app embedding, so we have full integration between Klaviyo and Shopify. Now we need to set up the branded domain in Klaviyo. So I will go back to my Klaviyo account. I will go to my Klaviyo dashboard, and in the left panel, I will click on my brand name, and I will click on settings. And here under general, click on domains. And then for this card that says sending domains, click on add domain. And here we will choose the purpose of our emails. I will say marketing, and I will click continue. Here I will put my Shopify store URL, and then click next. And here you can just say send. It really doesn't matter, and click next. Now here, depending on what domain provider you're using, it might be Cloudflare, it might be Spaceship, it might be Shopify itself. You can set up your DNS records manually. So you should select the domain provider. I will say others, and then I will click next. And now we need to set up this DNS record. So I will go to my domain provider, And depending on what domain provider you're using, you should see a DNS management option. So I will click on this button here. And now we need to add all of these DNS records here manually. So we have this first one. I'll create a NS record. So I will choose NS and I will paste the host name, and then I will put the value here. I will click add. I'll do the same thing here. Add an NS record. Again, doing the same thing. And once you put all of these DNS records, you can go back and you want to make sure all of these records are added here. And once you add all of those records, come back to Klaviyo and click verify, and we'll see if we can verify our domain provider. Okay, once you verify the DNS records, you should see the active status here, and you will see this green checkbox. And this means that all of our emails are going to be sent from Klaviyo on behalf of our domain, which allows us to land in inbox, not in spam folder. Okay, now we want to create a campaign calendar. The reason that we need campaign calendar is that if we want to generate sales from email marketing consistently, we want to make sure that we send 2 to 3 email campaigns a week. And the way that most people send email campaigns is that they're gonna send one email campaign today, one tomorrow, and maybe another one a few days after that, and they're gonna come back in 1 to 2 months and they'll wonder why they didn't any sales from email campaigns. But we don't want to do that. We want to send email campaigns consistently, and it's not easy to passively going to Claude, writing copy, designing an email, and put it into Klaviyo and send it right away. That's not the efficient way to do that. In my experience, you want to make sure that you plan for the next 30 days with email copies and email ideas, and you want to save all those email campaigns into a calendar. And we want to use Google Calendar, which is something that you probably have, or you can also use Microsoft Calendar if you're using that. But you want to make sure that you use your main calendar application. So once we ideate the email campaigns for the next 30 days on Claude, we'll write email copies with Claude, and then we'll save all of those email campaign copies into Google Calendar easily. We'll have direct connection between these two accounts, and then we'll use that copy inside Google Calendar to design the emails in Figma or Claude Design. And finally, we'll export the email design into Klaviyo, and then we can schedule or send the email campaign right away. So I will go to my Claude account, and then I will click on this plus icon, and I will select connectors, and I will add a connector and click on browse connectors. Here we'll search for Klaviyo, because first we want to make sure that we have both of these accounts integrated together. But because I already have a connection to my Klaviyo account, you can see that I can't add a new one. So I will remove this current one, and then I will add another one. So now I will click on connect. I will click approve. Because I have access to multiple accounts, you can see that there's a lot of accounts here, but you should probably see only one. So I'll click on this one. Now scroll all the way down and click on allow. Okay, now we have connected our Klaviyo account to Claude. The next step is to connect our calendar to our Claude account. So I will go through the same steps here, and I will go to browse connectors, and now I will search for calendar. Because I already have connected my Google Calendar again, I will click disconnect. And now we can connect our Google Calendar to our Claude account. Now here I will click continue. You just need to log in with your Google account to get access to your calendar. And now you can see that we have both of the accounts connected. So I will ask Claude, do you have access to Google Calendar and Klaviyo? Just to make sure that we have connected both of the accounts into our Claude account. And as you can see, it says it has access to both of the accounts. Now we want to write email campaigns for next 30 days. We're going to start with asking, find all of the events for the next 30 days. I want you to write my email campaigns for the next 30 days, not only for events, but considering pain points of my ICP. And also I will attach my brand book that we generated in module 1, which is here. So I will drag and drop it here. Also, I want to say, I want the strategy to be 20% of the campaigns to be promo based and other 80% to be value based. So We actually want to give people value by talking about how our product can solve their pain points. And we want to do that like 80% of the time, and only 20% of the emails need to have promotion. And then I will say, give me 20 to 30 email idea first, because we don't want to generate the copies at the get-go, because it's going to take too much time to review all of those angles. So first we want to analyze the angles, and we'll pick few of these email ideas, and then we will ask for copy so we can use it for email designs. So give me 20 to 30 email ideas first, so I can choose the angles, and then we will go for copywriting. Okay, now we have about 26 email campaign ideas that we can choose from. So the first one is, let me zoom in about a bit. What's your skin barrier is trying to tell you? Maybe I can pick that one. Alright, the always cream debate. Maybe picking this one. The 90-second ritual that resets your evenings. I like that one. Maybe that angle works well. So the sixth one, and how to actually layer your herbal routine. What's absorbing, not sitting actually feels like. So I like this one as well. This is actually the email campaign ideas for a skincare brand based on the brand book that I provided. So that's why you can see a lot of content about skin and things like that. So let's say we only take Start of Adam. I also like that one. That's related to the season. These type of campaigns work very well. What 59% barrier strength actually looks like. I will choose this one as well. And let's also choose a promo email. Most of these email are tagged with value, because I ask it to give me 80% of times the value emails. So let's choose this one. Or products work like BFFs, the skin reset set. So I like this one. Let me choose the 25th. And then I will ask for, now write me the copy for those emails. Now we will choose these command here. You can take a screenshot. Let me make sure you can see this commands here. You can take a screenshot from these commands, and I'll do the same thing here. I will take a screenshot and I will paste it here. For any AI tool that you want to use, you can just provide it with these commands, and it will generate you the proper copy based on the angles that you choose. So I will say, use the commands I attached to write copies for each of those email campaigns. And just to show you what each of these commands are saying, we have the structure of 3 to 5 sections. It's then the rule number 2 is talking about how the headline should look like. It should be punchy and short. We want short descriptions. We want to have call to actions. The length, keep all copy short. Icons, design first mindset. So we're actually telling the AI tool to generate a copy that can be used as something that we want to provide to other AI platforms, the Claude design or Figma, to generate the design for us properly. So we have our copy generated. I will click on this file, and you can see that we have multiple email copies, and you can see we have different sections for each email. We have headline, description, we have icons, and it's broken down into multiple sections. Okay, now we want to save our email copies into our calendar for the next 30 days. So I will say, go through my calendar. So go through my calendar and save all of these email campaign copies in a way that I can send 1 to 3 email campaigns a week. And I will hit enter. And it's asking us for authorization. I will click allow. Okay, as you can see, Claude is saving those email copies into my calendar. And if I go to my calendar, here's where it gets interesting. You can see that we have 2 email campaigns ready to launch for every week. Actually, it's not ready to launch. We still need to design these emails, but it's one of the best ways to save our email copies instead of going through Google Doc, and we'll have trouble finding those email copies in the future if you wanted to use like Google Sheet or Google Doc. But now we have our email calendar that is integrated to our own Google Calendar. And if I click on any of these events, you can see that the copy is here, so I can easily come here and copy this and put it into Figma or Claude Design to actually design the emails. And if I want to do it in bulk, in advance, I can right away go to Claude and copy each one of these and create every single email design and put it into Klaviyo, so it's ready to be launched at the exact date. And even I can schedule the campaign right now. And this is how you can plan your email campaigns with just few clicks of a button. And the good thing is, whenever you want to design the email or send the email campaigns, you will be notified with your calendar and you'll know that you need to send an email campaign for today or tomorrow. All right. In the next module, we're actually going to get our hands dirty and start setting up the flows and campaigns, segments, and all that stuff in Klaviyo. Okay, let's start module 4. Here's where we actually implement everything in Klaviyo, like pop-up form, email flows, email campaigns, segmentations, and we're going to go practical and see how we can actually design the emails and export them into Klaviyo. So going back to the module 1, where we covered 3 pillars of email marketing. First one was pop-up form, second one was email flows, and finally we had email campaigns. The first pillar was the pop-up form, and that was actually the key for our customers to start their email marketing journey and getting high conversion rate for a Shopify store. So there are actually 2 ways to set up a pop-up form for our website. There are endless ways, but we only cover 2 ways in this video. One of them is implementing Elia, which is a third-party pop-up form. And most of the big brands like AG1, IM8 are using that third-party app to implement these pop-up forms. They have like a gamification in the first step. And this one for IM8, we have another gamification. And the other way to do that is using Klaviyo native sign-up form. We're going to cover both in this video. And actually, every single pop-up form has different steps. Starting with the first one, we can have a quiz or gamification like Dr. Squatch here or like IM8, or we can have a small quiz like what AG1 is doing or what Breeze is doing, asking some small question or committing customers to finish the quiz and answer all of the questions, including providing their email address and their first name. Also, we can ask for their phone number. So that's the first step. So first step is about asking a question or adding a gamification. After that, we can ask either for phone number or asking for the first name. Having the first name of recipient actually helps us to personalize the emails later on when we want to send email flows and email campaigns. So it's very important. And finally, we're going to show them the success page. And we'll tell them to check your inbox to get access to your coupon code. But here's the 2 main steps of every pop-up form. These are the most important ones. The first one is asking the email address. We want to make sure that we have their email address. And finally, we want to show them this success step that is going to lead them to their inbox so they can check for their coupon code. One important thing here is most of the ecom stores are offering coupon code here in the success step, but that's not what we want to do because this pop-up form is going to be linked to our welcome flow. And once we capture their emails, they're going to receive the welcome flow. And we want to force them to open our first email in their inbox. And that is a very good signal for Google and Microsoft that our emails are wanted by people and they will actually put our emails in their inbox later on, not in a spam folder or neither in a promotional tab. So it's very important. We never want to reveal the coupon code here in the pop-up form. I will show you on Klaviyo in a minute. Now let's go to Klaviyo and see how we can create a sign-up form. So I'm in my Klaviyo account. In the left panel, I will click website. I will click sign up forms. Here I can click create form. On the top right corner, I will click on create button. And here you can have access to some of the pre-built sign up form templates. Some of them also have that quiz feature, as you can see here. But the reason that it's very common to ask questions on a pop-up form is we're going to commit people with asking a relevant question. If you want to ask people about their email address right away, they probably are going to close the form. But if you ask something about their pain point, it's not only going to commit them to finish the sign-up form process, also we will have extra information later on so we can create multiple segments based on pain point of our customers. So let's say we choose this one, which is very simple and straightforward. I will call it test. For the email subscriber list, we want to make sure that we choose the same list as we are going to use for our welcome flow later. So you can usually find your newsletter list or email list. Just make sure the pop form and the welcome flow are linked to the same list. So once people enter their email, they're going to be added into that specific list. And that specific list is linked to the welcome flow. And that makes welcome flow to be triggered and be sent to the customer. So here in the top, we have multiple steps of our pop-up form. As you can see, we are asking about email address in the first step. And then we have SMS opt-in. And finally, we have the success message. But there are a few things that we need to change in order to get higher conversion rate, because a higher converting pop-up form allows us to grow our email list much faster than a low converting pop-up form. In the left panel, I will click on style. The first thing that we want to make sure is changed is the size of the pop-up form. So instead of having a very small pop-up form, we want to have something that covers the entire screen. So we make sure that people read the offer before closing the form. I will click on pop-up under form type, and I will click on full page. Now you can see that pop-up form is actually fitting the entire screen. And another problem with all of the pop-up form is this close button, because most people unconsciously just click on close and they will close the form without reading the offer. And even if you give them 50% off, they still won't be able to see the offer because they're instantly closing the form. So we either need to remove this button from there. I can choose its color and set the opacity to be 0, or a better way to do that is changing the alignment, and we'll put it in the left, because most of the pop-up form by default add this button on top right corner. People are used to close the buttons without even thinking. At least in this case, they're going to look for the close button here, but they can't find it, and they get the chance to read the offer, and maybe after that, if they want to close, they have the option to close the form. So you can also ask for first name. Like, I can clone this step and I can call it name opt-in, and I will click clone step. And here I can remove this email input, and from this content icon, I can add an input, text input, and we can call it name. And you want to set the property to be first name of the recipient. This is how we can ask about their first name. And after that, we have the call to action button. One thing about pop-up form is we always want to keep the design clean. We can also remove this image from here so people get less distracted and they are forced to read the offer. So here's how you can remove the image if you want to remove the image. You go to styles, and here you click on this drop down and click on no side image. So this is how people are going to be forced to read the offer without any distractions. And you also have the mobile version here, so we want to make sure that it looks good on both desktop and mobile, specifically mobile, because in most of the cases, 60 to 70% of traffic is coming through mobile. Also, we have this teaser button that allows people to open the pop-up form again. So if they're on the website and if they close the form, they'll still have the option to go back to the pop-up form by clicking this button here. But there's an issue with this teaser button, because if they go to the checkout page, this button is going to stay on top of the checkout button, and it's not good. So we need to change the alignment, and we'll put it in the left side of the mobile phone. You can also change the copy here, and you can change the copy here as well, and for the first name. And once you're done, you can click on publish or schedule, and you can publish your pop-up form. Also, there are more options about how the pop-up form is going to work, and it's under targeting. So in the left panel, click on targeting, and under targeting tab, you can see that you can exclude some URLs of your website, like cart page or checkout page. Like, usually we don't want this pop-up form to be shown on the cart page for customers, neither for checkout page. So you can exclude those URLs here, and if we click on this button, we can exclude like /cart. So any page that contains cart or checkout is going to be excluded. Or you can show this for certain locations. You can define that here. And then we have this other feature, which is about timing and behavior of the pop-up form. We have time delay. So anyone who visits the website, we can define that they're only going to pop up. We can define that the pop-up form shows for them after certain time delay, like 5 seconds. if you can turn on this switch and you can call it 5 second or 6 second after anyone visits the website. You can also add another behavior, like once person scrolls a certain amount of the page, like 30% of the page. But based on my experience, you can just keep this 6 second delay and you're gonna get good conversion rate with that behavior. And for frequency, you can keep this 5 days. So we don't want to show this pop-up form to every single person every single day, especially if they are already added to our email list. It doesn't make sense to show them again. And that's why we need to keep this checkbox on, like don't show again if form was submitted. So now once you're done, you can click on publish and publish the form. And after that, you can create your welcome flow, which we are going to cover in a minute. But before doing that, let's go to Alia Shopify app and see how we can create a pop-up form using Alia. So on your Shopify store, you can click on apps button, and here you can search for Alia, and you can click on the app. But this app is paid, and if you want to invest some money to get higher conversion rate for your pop-up form, it might make sense for you. You can click on the button down in description. And once you set up this app, you can go to campaigns. You can create a new pop-up form. You can call it test and click create. Now, if you scroll down, you can find the pop-up form that we just created, and then you can click on this card and we can choose our template here. I will choose this one and I will choose this one. I will click next. You can you can update the colors and fonts and changing the size of the text. And you can also see the both versions for mobile and desktop. And I will click next. I will choose my logo. I will click next. For flowing button, which is the same thing as teaser on Klaviyo, I will choose left wall, the same as Klaviyo. And this is actually interesting. This is the first step of the pop-up, and we can create different gamifications, like we can do what Dr. Squatch is doing or creating a scratch off like I am 8. So we have multiple options here. You can choose spin to win. You can choose mystery box, which is the same thing as Dr. Squatch, or this scratch off is what we had for I am 8. I will choose this one and I will click next. This is actually the terms of service URL. So you want to make sure you provide the corresponding URL of your website and make sure this checkbox is checked and click next. Actually, I think you can see this button here, but this next button is here. And for the reward, I want to make sure that it's turned off. This is actually what I was telling you. And we don't want to show the reward or coupon or discount or whatever at the final step of the pop-up form. We only want to reveal that inside welcome flow. So I will choose no reward and I will click next. And I want to keep single opt-in, but if you're in Europe, you probably need to choose double opt-in. I will click next. We can change the time delay here. I will keep the 5 second. I will turn on the smart trigger. And this is actually an AI feature that decides when is the best time to show the pop-up form to the customers. We can also add exit intent. So whenever a person wants to close the page, they will see the pop-up. And finally, I will click on finish. So this is our pop-up form with 3 different steps. We are asking for email. We have this scratch off step as the first step. This is how you can create a Alia pop-up form. You can change the images. You can click on an image and change that, or you can even remove the image. Or if you want to add extra elements, you can add text, or you can add another image like this. But I'm not going very deep with this. I just want to show you that you have this option to use Alia as a third-party pop-up form. Now let's go and see how we can create a welcome flow from scratch, writing the copy and designing the emails, and how to add it into Klaviyo and link it to our pop-up form. Okay, before creating a welcome flow, let's talk about email flows in general and see what is the role of email flow and how it can generate more sales for us. We set up email flows once and they're gonna convert people automatically without us being involved at all. It means that if we set it up correctly, it's gonna generate money even when we are asleep. So people visiting our website, we're going to ask for their email addresses, and then we're going to send them these emails. Actually, Klaviyo is going to send these emails without us being involved. Email flows are being sent based on our customer behavior. That's why we can have endless email flows. So based on any behavior that anyone could possibly have on our website, we can have a different email flow for that. We can have a specific email flow for that. Here's some triggers that we can create email flows for, like when person joins our email list, which is actually the welcome flow, once someone adds product to their cart, once someone proceeds to checkout and they don't finish the purchase, once someone visits the website, once someone browse our products, like they just visit the product page and they don't add it to their cart, and also once they place an order and they finish the purchase. The first flow, and probably the most important flow, is welcome flow here, and this is what we're gonna create to link it to our pop-up form. So anyone who opts in for our newsletter, they're gonna receive the welcome flow. And in this flow, we're gonna offer the coupon that we promised them on the pop-up form. We want to make sure that the offer is clear in this email. Like in this case, you can see that the 10% is at the top of the email. Also, we have this other one, the 10% is at the top of the email, along with the coupon code and the call to action. We can have infinite number of emails inside the welcome flow, and each email can be sent with certain time delay based on our preference, like with 1 day delay, 2 days delay, 3 days delay. But the first email needs to be sent instantly because we just promised them a coupon, like a free gift or a 10% off. We need to make sure that the first welcome email is going to be sent instantly. So here's some emails in the welcome flow format. We have the first email here, the second one, third one, fourth one, and so on. And we can talk about different things in each of these emails. I will cover that in a minute, but let's see some of the examples of welcome email. You can answer some questions, you always offer the welcome coupon across all of the emails in the welcome flow. You can show some lifestyle images, you can have product sections so people can click and directly buy from the product page instead of going through different pages on the website. But the most important question here is what we should talk about in welcome flows. The goal here is to educate customer about our product, and we're going to use the same Alex Hormozy equations to drive the point home again. For each email, we can focus on certain variable in the equation. For example, in the first email, you can focus on dream outcome. In the second one, you can focus on perceived likelihood of achievement, like adding testimonials. In the third one, you can focus on time delay, like adding these type of graphs to show them how much it's going to take for them to see the results. And we can talk about how easy it is for them to use the product and see the results in a short time frame. Now let's go back to the awareness funnel. People in the welcome flow are considered to be least aware about our product because they just joined our email list. So we shouldn't consider that these people already know the solution, these people already know the product. They're at the top of the funnel. And because email marketing funnel starts from the third stage, they should be considered to be here. Not even the entire stage 3, like half the way up here. And we still need to sell the solution to them. That's why we need to show some results for other clients. We also need to show them some testimonials from other customers that have positive stories about our products and things like that. Enough talking. Now let's see how we can design all of our welcome emails using AI. So I will go back to my Claude account, and the first thing that I want to do is I will take a screenshot from the same commands that we use in the last module, and I will provide it here. But first, let's ask for some ideas for our welcome email copies. So I will say I want to create a welcome flow with 3 emails in the flow. Give me some ideas on what to talk about in each one. Also, another thing that we can do here is we can provide the same equation to Claude as well. And I will say use Alex Hormozy's value equation to persuade people. So we'll ask for some ideas first, and then we can write copies based on those ideas. And finally, we're going to design and export those email designs into Klaviyo. So we're actually doing the same thing that we were doing in the last module, but now we're focusing on welcome flow. But before asking for ideas, I want to give enough context, just the same way that we learned in copywriting module. So I will give my brand book here. But actually, before writing copies, we need to provide our website link along with the brand book that we generated in module 1. So let's say we want to create the email designs, this welcome email designs for this website, which is a clothing brand. So I will write the URL here, and also we have the brand book here. And then we will hit enter. So we have 3 ideas here. We can also ask for more ideas so we can pick some of them instead of going with all of these 3. But let's see what are the ideas here. So first of all, we have the welcome offer, and it's talking about the dream outcome and the likelihood. So headline says lead with a welcome discount, paint the dream outcome fast, gear the performance as hard as the writer goes. I think that's fine. Kill the risk. Here we are actually using, in email 2, it's talking about returns and exchanges, sizing, confidence, and things like that, which is a good thing. And we are focusing on these 2 parts, effort and sacrifice, and perceived likelihood of achievement. But I would say I want to see some testimonials on email 2. So I will say, I want to see some testimonials. And I think the email 3 looks cool. Maybe we can also talk about how fast they will receive the product in email 3. And I will say also, because I want to keep the urgency, I don't want to change the copy entirely. After that, write me the copy for all of the emails. Again, I will take a screenshot from my copywriting commands to make sure that the copy can be used to design emails. Okay, the copy is ready. We have email 1, email 2, and email 3. So let me copy the entire text for email 1. And in order to design the emails, I would like to use Figma. You can also use Claude Design. I showed you how you can use Claude Design to design emails, but I would prefer Figma. And in Figma, I would like to use the same skills that I created in the last module, the email designer skill. And I will write the text. I will say, design me a welcome email. Also, I would like to give a screenshot of their website to Figma as well. And let's see how the design is going to look like. I will copy the screenshot by hitting Control C, and I will go back to Figma and I will paste it here. So this is the email that Figma generated for us. I think the layout looks cool, but we need to update some of these images. So maybe I can change this image on top. So I will go to the website and let me see if I can find any useful image. I think this image could do the job. So I will download that and I will click on this image and we can upload from computer, and I will choose that image. As you can see, it looks much better. And if you want, you can also change the alignment of these elements. Like you can make them center aligned, but I will leave it as it is. Also, I need to add an image background for this section. I think it's gonna make it look much better. So let me download this one, and I will select its fill color, and I will select image. So now we can upload one of the images that we have. Like, let's see how it looks like with this one. I will click on crop so I can adjust the image like this. But if I add a color overlay, I can make it darker so it looks much better on this email. As you can see, all of the text are readable now. And yeah, I think it looks much better now. We can also add another image for the background here. As you can see, it's mentioning the offer again. Also, we have testimonials here. But let's add another image. I think I can take a screenshot from this part, from this video. I'll save it in my desktop. Let's see how it goes. So I will upload the image here. But you know what? Let's leave it as it is. Let's not add another image here because we already have an image on top of this section and it doesn't make sense to add another one. Also for these images, we can update the images easily. We can come here and I can save the image in the desktop. And here I can paste my image, easy as that. And maybe doing some adjustments like this. But I want to do another cool thing here. So let me remove the background for this image. And I will bring it in this section. And I will make it floating so it can easily move around the elements. And this way we can have a cool effect. And we have her head bumping out of the section. And I think it looks cool. So we can do the same thing with this image here. So maybe I can choose this product. I can copy the image and come back here again. And I can play around with this. You can also update the text for this product section. But as you can see, we have icons here. You can change the colors. I think it's very bright. So I can add a fill and I can change it easily. So as you can see, the first email looks cool. So we can use the same email and ask for a second and third version of our welcome email. So we can go back to Claude and we can copy the text for second email. And I can paste it here. I can copy the third email copy. And I will say, make sure to select the first email design that it generated. And I will say, design me the second and third email for my welcome flow based on the first one I selected. And I will hit enter. Okay, we have the second and third email generated here. I think the layout looks cool. We have the icons here and these testimonials. We can use real customer photos here. But this image looks cool, but I don't think it goes along with their product. So let's update some of these images. First, I will start with this one. I'll go back to their website and let's find something relevant. I think this image looks cool. We can use this one. I will take a screenshot. I will select this image. In the right panel, I will select here and I will click Control V to paste the image here. So I think this image does the job here, but now let's find some user generated photos. I think this image is user generated, so we can update some of these images. I will hit Control V, and these are also videos generated by customers, but we can't use videos there. So let me go to some of their products and see if I can find some UGC. Yeah, I think this one looks cool. I can copy this and go back to Figma. And let me adjust the image. And we have this image here. I can also copy this one. And I will go back to Figma and I select this one. And I will hit Control V to update the image. As you can see, although these user-generated contents don't look very good, but they're much more persuasive compared to brand images, because all of these photos have been taken by real customers. And you also need to make sure that all of these testimonials are the real ones from your website. And we can also update the images here, but I will leave it as it is. But let's go to abandoned cart email designs. And finally, once we cover all of the email flows, we will implement every single email flow into Klaviyo. Now let's see what is an abandoned cart flow and what is an abandoned checkout flow and how we can actually design these emails using AI. So whenever your visitors come to your website, if they add something into their cart, and if they leave the website and they don't finish their checkout and they don't place order, this flow is going to be triggered and we are going to target these people using abandoned cart flow and abandoned checkout flow. The difference between abandoned cart flow is that when a person adds something to their cart and they close the website, that's when they trigger the abandoned cart flow. But if they click on checkout and they proceed all the way to checkout page, and if they leave the website after proceeding to checkout page, they just trigger the abandoned checkout flow. So that's the difference between these two flows. You can have both of them on your website, or you can use a same email flow for both purposes. So people who proceed all the way to adding product to their cart or proceeding to checkout are considered to be at the very bottom of the flow before becoming a customer. So we can consider them to be here. It means that these people need to be targeted with different language and need to talk about different things compared to welcome flow. Now let me show you some examples. These people already know that they need the product and they probably already trust your products, but there's few questions that need to be answered and there are few concerns. So in order to persuade these people, if you offer any guarantee, you want to mention that in these flows, you can talk about extra features about your product, you can compare it with your competitors, and you can talk about different selling points. Like in this case, we're talking about VIP customer support, we are talking about free and fast shipping, and this fast shipping actually in the value equation is actually decreasing this part in the bottom of the equation. And if you offer returns, you can mention that, lifetime warranty, waterproof rings. So these are the final objections or final questions that we can address in these email flows. Also, another important thing about these email flows is we always want to personalize the email with the product that person left into their cart. So in this case, I have these two products in my cart, and the right way to target me for this website is going to be using the same product that I left on a website and show it as a dynamic section. So the first thing that I see in this email is going to be the products I left either in checkout or into my cart, inside my cart. And that's how we can personalize these emails and get higher conversion rate. You can have 3 to 10 email in this flow depending on what you're selling. We can have 3 to 10 emails in this flow depending on what you're selling. If you're selling more expensive products, you can add more emails in this flow. And you can specify certain topics for each of these emails. For one of them, you can compare your product with competitors. For the other one, you can give discount, but we never want to give discount right away in this flow because these people are very close to placing order anyway, so we don't want to squeeze margins by giving discount right away in the first email. So if you want to give discount, only give it away after the third email, after the second email. So the first email, we just want to remind them, want to tell them that you left this product into the cart, and we can give some selling points like VIP customer support, free and fast shipping, guarantees, returns, and things like that. After that, we can compare products with competitors, and finally, we will give them the discount. Now let's go to Claude and write the copy for our abandoned cart flows. So I will go back to my Claude account and I will feed it with my brand book again. And also let me use the same copywriting instructions. And I will say, I will copy the URL of the website. I need 3 abandoned cart emails for this website. First, email 1, remind them plus selling points. So the first email, we should remind them with few selling points, and final objection handling. Email 2, compare with competitors. Email 3, give 10% discount and more selling points. And I think we don't need to ask for ideas. We can go straight to writing copy phase. So I will say write the entire. So I said write the entire copy using the instructions I attached. Okay, we have all of our email copies ready. So I will copy the text. Let me exclude the subject line though. So let me copy this text. Let's go back to Figma and I will select the first welcome email and then I will go to agent. This way I'm telling Figma that I would like to follow the same design. And now I will write the copy here. I will say design me an abandoned cart email for, again, I will copy the URL of the website. And finally, I will call the email designer. Let me actually change my position. And finally, I will call the email designer skill, which is this one. So we added the text here and we added the website URL and we also selected the first welcome email. And finally, I will click this arrow icon to generate the email. Okay, we have the first abandoned cart email generated. I think the design looks cool. We have founder code here. The icons look a bit different, which I think they still follow the same style. It's just a bit different to avoid repetition. So we can update the image here. Also, when we implement this email in Klaviyo, I will slice out this part so we can add the dynamic section, which is this part, and we will show what person left into their cart in this part of the email. Other than that, I think the design looks cool. Maybe we can just update this image with another one. So I will save this image and I will select this first hero image and I will click on upload from computer. I will select this image and we can do some adjustments like this. And I think this way it looks much better. Also, we have this limited time badge to push the urgency. You can also update these images, but I will leave it as it is. And let me click on the email and we'll go for the next two versions of this abandoned cart email. So I will copy the text from Claude and I'll go back to Figma in the left panel. I will make sure that I selected the first abandoned cart email. I will paste the text here and I will say I need two other versions for the abandoned cart email. Make sure you're creative with the design. Let's see how the second and third email are going to look like. Okay, the second and third email are generated. I think few changes required specifically for this part. We want to make sure that we have this brand's logo on top of this section. And for these other columns, maybe I can add this one here. And I can copy this icon and paste it here as well. And also adding another icon for the first row of this section. Okay, I think also let's add another one here. I think it's more clear now. We just need to add their logo here or maybe one of their product images. So let me go back to their website. I think if I copy their logo and I paste it here, I can remove the background and make sure to actually we need to have the white version because the background is black. So I will create a white rectangle and I will select both elements and I will put it inside this section. Again, make sure it's floating. And if I bring the logo here, I think it makes it clear. Also, we can add icons for these two different columns to make it even more clear. But I think if we add an image here, we'll be done with this email. So let me see which image we can use. Maybe we can use this image. I will save it. I will select the background and I will add an image. So I'll upload from computer. I will select this image and want to make sure the overlay is a bit darker so the white texts are readable. As you can see, this section looks cool. Also, let me show you a cool effect that we can do in Figma. I will reduce the opacity here. If you go to Effects panel, you can choose background blur, and if you increase the blurriness of the background, you can see that we have this glass effect, which looks cool. And for the third email, let's just update. As you can see, we have the coupon code here with the 10% discount. Let's just add a background image that makes more sense. I think we can use this image. So I will select the background and I will change the image. Yeah, I think it looks much better now. Also, let's change this image. It looks very fake and AI generated. So I think what image we should use. Let me go to the product pages. We can use this image or this one. This one looks even better. So I will save this and I will select that image and I will click on upload from computer. And I will choose crop so I can adjust the placement of the image. And as you can see, we have something much better this way. All right. I think these emails look cool. Now let's go to the next important email flow, which is browse abandonment flow. So browse abandonment flow is a flow that is going to be triggered when we visit a product page on a website, but we don't add anything into our cart, or we don't proceed to checkout and we leave the website. So if this is your homepage, if this is the homepage of your website, if I go to one of these product pages like this, and if I leave the website without adding anything into my cart, I just triggered the browse abandonment flow. This flow is very important for businesses that have higher number of SKUs, especially the fashion brands like clothing and jewelry brands. Because the way that people buy from these brands is they're gonna browse their website passively, and if they find something interesting, they're gonna buy the product. It's not necessarily for a very deep pain point. That's why we can add a lot of product section for this email flow. So the whole point of this email flow is understanding that the person who visits a product page and they don't add the product into their cart, they probably didn't find the right product for their need. That's why they're scrolling into our website, they're visiting different products, but they don't find any of those products to be interesting. So we can show different products in these emails. Like we can suggest the products that other people found interesting, and we can add it as different product sections like this, and we can add 4-6 products in product section of this email flows. Also, another cool thing that we can do here is we can compare our own products. So if you have multiple products, you can easily compare the features and let people decide which products actually fit their need. We can have 3 to 6 emails in this flow, depending on what you're selling. But if you have a fashion brand, you want to make sure that this flow has enough emails inside the trigger, and you're actively targeting people who browse your products without making a purchase. In the first email, you can show relevant products. Also, we have the same dynamic section for the browse abandonment flow, like this one, that we show the product that person browsed on our website and left the product page. So we can show the relevant product in the first email. And also, we want to make sure that we send these emails with 1 to 2 hours time delay. We don't want to send it immediately like the way that we send welcome emails. In the second one, you can compare your own product. And in the third one, just like the abandoned cart email, you can start giving discounts. So let's see how we can design these emails. I will go to Claude because it already has the instruction and brand book. I will ask for write me abandoned Okay, write me abandoned cart email with 3 emails in a sequence. Email 1 suggests similar products on a website. Email 2 compare our own products, and email 3 give discount. Also, I'm gonna make sure you use brand voice and instructions I provided earlier, and write me the copy. So we have the copies generated for us in Claude. Let me see the second email, compare our own products. So we have the price point, coverage, base for. So I think the copy looks good, but let's start with the first email and see how Figma generates the design. So let me choose this email, and in the left panel, I will write the copy and I will say design me an browse abandonment. And also let's ask for more creativity. I want more creativity. And we can hit enter. Okay, the email is generated. I like this product section and the way that they are different from the last versions. But the first thing we want to do is changing this image because it makes the text invisible. So I'll go back to their website and see if I can find any relevant images here. So let me open some of these product sections, some of these product pages. And I think this image might work well. I don't know. Let's try it out. Save it in my desktop. Also, this image looks very cool. Let me also save this one as well. I will select this section and I will change the image. I'll click on upload from computer. Let's go with this one. Yeah, I think this looks pretty cool, but let me put these elements in the bottom left. Also, one quick mistake that Claude made is it's saying your card's still here, but this is a browse abandonment flow. So we should change this to and say come look again. And also this one should be go back to website, because they didn't add anything into their cart. Also, we can update the images for these product sections, but I will leave it as it is to save time. But I would like to change the background of this section, so I can click on image and upload from computer. This was the other image that we downloaded. And I can make the text to be center aligned. And also we can change the color of this text to be white. So now let me also change the color of this button. Now if I add a dark overlay on this image, the text will be more visible. So as you can see, we can also do another thing, and we can add a gradient. And I will set the opacity for the top to be 0, and we can put the text at the bottom of the sections. And as you can see, this way it looks much better. And now we will use the same structure to design the next two emails. So I will copy the text for the other two emails, and I'll go back to Figma, and I'll make sure that I selected this one, and I will put the text here, and I will say design me other two browse abandonment emails. Also, let's say never mention cart because it's abandoned cart email, not because it's because it's a browse abandonment flow, not abandoned cart. And again, I will say be more creative, and then we can ask for the designs. Okay, we have email 2 and email 3 for our browse abandonment flow, but this image looks very weird. We definitely want to change that. But for these parts, we have the use cases. So it says best for show days, max run, best for long days in saddle. Yeah, I think this product section looks cool for the browse abandonment flow, especially as we have the use cases here. And this helps people to find the best product. But let's change this image. That should be the first thing we want to do. So let me find some good images from the website. I think this image looks cool, so let me download that. This one also looks cool. Also this one. All of these images look cool. So I can use any of those images here. So I will click on the image icon and I will click on upload from computer. we can choose any of these images. Let's go with this one. For the black overlay, I would like to use gradient again, so we can make the upper part to be more visible. And we can also update these images for product sections, but I will leave it as it is to save some time. And for this part, we can use our background image. So I will go to image, upload from computer, and I can choose this one. I will expand the height, and I will put the text on the bottom of the sections, and I will add a black gradient overlay, the same way as we did for other sections, just like this. And now we can go to the third email, and I can again update the image for the hero section. I will choose this one. And again, I want them to be aligned at the bottom, adding a gradient overlay, just like that. Yeah, I think if I change the color to be white here, it looks much better. Also, I don't know why it decreased the opacity. So yeah, I think we're done with browse abandonment emails. We can later on upload all of this into Klaviyo. Also, let's add a background for this section. I'm being very picky with these images, so maybe choosing one of the last images we used. Should I choose this one? Let's choose that one and see. Yeah, I think it looks cool. If I align the text to the bottom, add a dark overlay. Okay, looks cool. Now let's go to post-purchase flow. So unlike other email flows that we just covered, the point of browse abandonment flow, abandoned cart flow, and ecom flow was converting people. But post-purchase flow is a kind of flow that the recipient receive once they place an order on a website. But you might think, why should we send an email once person places an order? Shouldn't we just leave them because we just took their money? My answer is no, a big no, because we want to keep people engaged for creating a strong brand. Because not only we can convert these people and push them for the second and third purchase, also they can bring us referrals, and also we can capture reviews for our website. So if you have a brand that sells like mattresses, or your products generally are considered to be one-time purchases, for this email flow, you should upsell accessories. For example, if you're selling mattresses, it doesn't make sense to sell the same person who just bought a mattress from your website another mattress. It doesn't make sense. So we need to upsell accessories of our website in this email flow. But if you have something that is not one-time purchase, like clothing brands, supplement brands, every other CPG brands, skincare brands, you can push them to buy other products, or you can push them the subscription of your product in this email flow. So in the first email, we want to thank them for placing an order on our website and trusting our brand. In the second one, we want to ask for feedback. And third one, we will ask for next purchase. We can give discount in this email as well. So the first email should be sent with 1 day delay, especially if you have a Shopify order confirmation email that is being fired instantly. You want to set at least 1 day delay here to send the thank you email. And after 9 days, we'll ask for feedback, because we want to make sure that person received the product. And here's how we break down the leaving a review action. You might think it's stupid to show them how they can leave the review, because most people probably know how to leave a review on a website. But the easier you make it for people to do the action, more people are going to do it. And the third email, we will push for the next purchase, which is going to be sent with 14 days delay after the second email. And this is how these type of email are going to look like. For a fashion brand, this is how it should look. It should probably look almost the same as browse abandonment emails. For the third email in the post-purchase flow, you just need to offer them some different products. If it goes along with their first purchase, it will be even better. And if you want to sell accessories, you can do that as well. Now, let's go and write copy for post-purchase email. I will say, use the same instructions again and brand book, and make me 3 emails for my post-purchase flow for the same website. Email 1, thank them for trusting us. Email 2, ask for review, and I'll say make sure to break down these steps for writing a review on the website. Email 3, push them for next purchase, and we'll ask for copy. Okay, we have the copies generated, so I will copy the first email. I will go back to Figma. I will use the agent. I will choose this email, and I will paste the copy here. And I will say, design me a post-purchase email with the copy provided. Okay, we have the email ready here. I think the layout looks cool. This image is weird, very weird. It reminded me of the Game of Thrones. But anyways, so let's see how we can change some of these images. I will go back to their website. I think this image looks much better in this email. So I will save it. Actually, we can go to their Instagram as well and see what type of images we can find there. Yeah, so we have good images here that we can use. For example, this one. I can take a screenshot, save it in my desktop. This image also looks very good. I can save this one as well. Yeah, I think we can go back to Figma and update this image. And we can go with this one for this email. I think, yeah, it looks very nice. And yeah, I think we can also update this image. Maybe you want to make sure the image aligns with the copy, but I will just find something that looks. Can we put this text here? Yeah, I think this way it looks much better. And I will leave this one as it is. So we can generate the other two emails and we'll be done. And after that, we will go in Klaviyo and see how we can implement these emails as real flows. So I will copy the text for the next two emails. I will select the post-purchase email and I will write the copy. I will ask for generate me the next two emails for post-purchase flow and be very creative. Okay, we have the other two emails generated. This one, on this email, on the second one, we are asking for feedback. So we're asking you've had some time in it. Leaving a review task. These are all of the steps. We just need to add a screenshot from the website on how people can leave a review. So maybe the first step says head to the product page. I will take a screenshot from the product page and I'll paste it here. I'll decrease the size, maybe adding some corner radius like this. Scroll down directly to the review section. So I will scroll down and I will take a screenshot from this part. Something like this. And I'll update the screenshot. Click the write a review button so I can take a screenshot from this part. You won't believe me how effective this breaking down the steps are, especially in email marketing, because people open their emails passively. And if you can visualize every single step, you will get much more conversion rate. Rate 1 out of 5. So let me click on write review. I will take a screenshot from this part as well. Go back to Figma and I'll put it here. Add photo. And I will take a screenshot from this part and I will create another application and I will bring it into this section and I will update the image, hit the submit button. So I don't have access to the submit button here, but if I click on next, I can use this screenshot here. All right, let's update some of the images. I will start with the first image on top of this email. So I'll choose this one again. This image looks cool. I can also update this image, but let me go straight to the third email. And I will select fill. I will upload an image. Let's choose this image and add a overlay gradients. And we have some products. We're actually asking for next purchase, but these product sections are missing call to action button. So I will copy that call to action and I will paste it here. And I will paste it here. And the text should be shop now, not shop new arrivals. This is how our third email look like. Also, we can add an image here. So click upload from computer. I'll choose this one. And I want to see the text in the bottom of the section. I will add a dark overlay again. All right, we're done with all of these emails. But as you can see, we have generated all of these emails. There are almost 12 emails here. If we wanted to generate these emails using traditional ways like designing from scratch in Figma, it could have take few days to generate all of this, to design all of these emails. Also, you need to have some designing skill. But now, in just a few minutes, we have generated 12 emails that we can implement in Klaviyo in next step. Okay, now we want to implement these email flows in Klaviyo. So if you're new to Klaviyo, I will implement every single flow step by step so you can follow and make sure you can do the same thing on your side. But also if you've been using Klaviyo for a while and you have some knowledge, you will still learn a lot in this module, so make sure to watch the entire video. So I will go to my Klaviyo account and in the left panel, I will click on flows. Because we want to implement the welcome flow, the 3 welcome flow we generated using Figma. On the top right corner, I will click on create flow, and here I will search for welcome. We have multiple options here. We have unique discount, final SMS discount, customer vs non-customers, but I want to click on this one, which is called standard. I will call it test welcome. But the trigger needs to be the same trigger that we use for the pop-up form. If you remember the list that we selected for pop-up form in the pop-up form section, we need to choose the same email list. So I will choose email list and I will click on use template. Okay, we have all of the 3 emails here. We just need to update the content. But before doing that, let's make sure that we have the right trigger and filters. So the welcome email needs to be sent only to people who didn't purchase from our website yet. So I will click on add filter. Once you click on trigger, you can add a filter. We want to define that this email needs to be sent only to people who didn't place order since starting this flow. So I will choose place order. I will say 0 times. And here I will choose since starting this flow and I will click save. And I will allow re-entry. This part actually allows them to re-enter the flow based on your preferences. You can choose no re-entry, but I want to allow re-entry maybe after 30 days. And then I will click on my welcome email, the first one. I will click on edit. And now we need to export our welcome email. So I will choose slice tool. And I want to make sure that I cover all of these necessary parts. And then I will hit Control D to create a duplication for this slice. As you can see, this is a new slice. And in the left panel, if you click on file, you can see your slices here. So this slice needs to cover these product sections separately because we want to link them to the corresponding product page. And also this other product section, this other product here. And I will choose the first slice, this one, and I will hold Alt or Command. And I'll cover the rest of the email here. I don't want to include this footer part because we need to create that separately in Klaviyo. So I will choose all of these 4 slices that I have created, and in the right panel, I will click on plus icon in export, and I will choose JPEG, and I will export it in my desktop. And I will save all of these slices. So I have my slices in my desktop, but we don't want to directly upload these images into Klaviyo. We need to compress these images to make sure that the email is going to be loaded very fast for recipients. So I will choose, actually, let me go through this other website. If you search for compress image in Google, you'll find this website. It's called Image Compressor. And then you can easily upload all of your slices here. It's a free tool, and you can click on compress. And the good thing about this compressor tool is that it doesn't reduce the quality. Klaviyo has a compression version when you upload the images, but it reduces the quality, and I don't recommend using that. So you can use this website instead. And I will save all of the slices. I'll go back into Klaviyo email builder. This is the welcome flow, the first welcome email. I will remove all of these sections. I don't need any of these. I will delete this one as well, and I will add image. Let me also remove this logo. And now I can upload the compressed version of my email. So I'll start with the first section. I think this one, which one is the first section? This is the first section. So make sure you upload in the right order. Once it's uploaded, you can duplicate the image. And actually, for the second section, we need to add a split because we need to have 2 columns for the product. We can't use image block. So on the split, I will choose image. Both of these options need to be selected as image. And then we can click on the left one and we can upload our image. So this is our product image. I'll put it here. I'll select the right one and I will upload this other product. But we have some default gaps here. So you can go to styles and you can remove all of these paddings here. And also remove this center gap. But there's an issue here. Whenever you use split elements in Klaviyo, if you click on mobile, you can see that the design is messed up. In order to fix that, you can go to style and click on no stacking. And now on both desktop and mobile, you can see the right version. Now for the other parts of the email, I can add an image block and I can upload the footer of the email. Actually, not the footer, the other part of the email. Okay, we have our email uploaded into Klaviyo, but there's few things that we need to make sure is created here. The first thing is we need to have a footer with actual text in it. This allows us to have better deliverability, and Google and Microsoft will land our emails into inbox instead of spam folder, because all of the other parts of the image, email is having images, we need to have some text in it as well. So I will click on this plus icon and I will add a section. I'll add a section here. I want to put the social links here. I will add a text into this section. As you can see, this is an entire section. And the text that we want to put here is very special. Let me show you what you should do. So you go to your website, you can go to your About Us page. And you can copy some of this text. And we can go to Claude and I will ask for, write me a footer for my emails, including 200 to 300 words, but the words need to be something that people might search for in future. So this is very important. The text that we want to use in the footer of the email needs to be something that your audience are actively searching to find your products, and you can use the data for your SEO, for Google SEO, and you can find those keywords. For example, in this for this brand, it might be woman clothing, or it might be apparel, legging, t-shirts, anything like that. Because this is how people use their inboxes that nobody tells you. You might send them some emails, it might be a welcome email or it might be an email campaign. For the ones who don't buy your product at the moment, maybe in future they will come to their inbox and they will search for your products. And they probably don't remember your brand name, so they will search something relevant to your products, like apparel or clothing, things like that. And we want to make sure that we show up once they search for those keywords. And the only way to do that is to include those hot keywords into their footer, in the footer of our emails. So write a footer for my email, including 200 to 300 words. It needs to be something that people search in future in their inbox. And then I will copy this text here. I'll put it here. And also I'll put this part here. And I'll ask for the copy. So this is the copy that Claude generated for me. I will copy all of this text and I will paste it here. I will select the entire text and I will hit Control V. And I'll click paste only, and I want to make sure it's center aligned. Some people do the same thing, but they make the text invisible. I don't really like to do that because in most cases, the inbox doesn't actually understand that you decrease the text and you will have a huge gap at the bottom of the email, which doesn't look cool. Don't do that. Instead, you can add an actual text in your footer. But we need to update the background color, also adding some padding. So I can add some padding, like 20 pixels and 30 pixels on top and bottom. And for the background color, I will click on block background color and we can choose the same black color that we had on top of the email. And we can use the same color for these social media links. Also, you want to make sure that the texts are in white color as we have the black background. Okay, as you can see, this is the footer of our email. We can also add the logo on top of this, but I'll leave it as it is. And once you do that, because this is something that we want to include in all of our emails, no matter if you are creating flows or campaigns, so I will click on the entire section and I will click on the star icon. So now I can save this as a global element. So later on, I can easily drag and drop it through the universal tab. All right, this is our welcome email. We want to make sure the only thing that we need to add here is the link for the website. So I will copy the link to my website, not my website, this website as an example. And for each of these products here, you should link them to the corresponding product page on the website. So let's say if this is our product, I can copy the link of the product, right click, copy the link, and put the link here. You can do the same thing with this part and also this part. And once you're done, you want to make sure it looks cool on both mobile and desktop, and then click exit. But before doing that, you can also click on preview and send a test email to your own inbox to make sure the quality is good. And once you're done, you can click done and click exit. Here you can update the subject line. You can use the same subject line that Claude generated for us when it was generating the copy. And finally, we can click done. And this is how we implement our welcome email into our Klaviyo. Now let's quickly export the other two emails here and upload them in Klaviyo. So I will add another slice, make sure it's floating. And because we don't have a product section here, I can cover the entire email with one single slice, which also makes it easier to export and upload in Klaviyo. I'll also duplicate this slice and I'll cover the third email. So to avoid confusion, I will remove these slices from my desktop, and then I can click on both of these slices. As you can see, these are the two slices for email 2 and 3, and I will click on export. I will choose JPEG and I will export 2 layers in my desktop. So as you can see, we have these 2 images here. We can also go and compress the images again, but for the sake of this video, I will just upload them directly into Klaviyo. Also, another thing, do you remember that I was telling you about the time delay for email flows? So as you can see, we don't have any time delay between the trigger and the first email. It means that people immediately receive the first welcome email. But after that, we have 3 days time delay. I can change this to a 1 day time delay. And after 1 day delay, they're gonna receive the second email. And I will click on edit and I can update the design of this second email. So again, I'll remove all these elements. I will add an image block here and I will upload this second email, this one. And we want to make sure we use this correct link for our email. So I will copy the website link and I will paste it in link address. And as you can see, we have this second email created. And we just need to add the footer. So I will go to Universal tab and I will add this section in the bottom of email. And then we can remove these extra sections in the bottom. We don't need these social media links anymore. Also, I can remove these sections entirely. And this is how our second email look like in Klaviyo. So I will click on exit. Again, you can update the subject line and also you can add a preview text or you can change the sender name. But I will leave it as it is and I will click done so we can go for the third email for our welcome email. I will change the time delay for the next email to be like 2 days. And I will select on third email. I will click edit. You want to make sure to uncheck this box which says skip recently email profiles. It will mess up your deliverability. It will skip some recipients from receiving your emails, which is not good. So this is the email builder for a third email in the welcome flow. I will remove everything. I will add image block and I will upload the third email here as well. Again, we want to put the link here. And I will add the footer section here again. And we can get rid of this other section. And I will click exit. And I will click done. Now, if you want to add more emails into your welcome email in the left panel, you can easily add a time delay, maybe say 2 days. And then you can add another email or you can add a SMS like this. Now let's see how we can implement the abandoned cart flow. So I will go back to my dashboard in Klaviyo and I will go to flows. I will create flow again. And now I will search for abandoned cart. As you can see, we have different triggers here. So we have Shopify added to cart trigger. We have added to cart trigger. We have Shopify added to cart trigger here. But the first thing is that you want to make sure that you have this email icon. And then you can click on any of these. And you can see the preview here. And you want to make sure that the Shopify integration is enabled. So I will call it test cart. But before doing that, let me show you what is abandoned checkout. Actually, abandoned checkout has different trigger in Klaviyo and Shopify. So if I search for checkout, you can see that we have abandoned checkout reminder, abandoned checkout reminder. And if I click on this one, you can see that the trigger says abandoned checkout here, not abandoned cart. But I will go back to added to cart trigger and I will create my flow. I will call it test cart. You can create both flows and you can have different designs for these emails, or you can just do the same thing that I want to do with this cart, which is also going to be sent for people who proceed to checkout. So the first thing we want to do here is we want to change this 2 hours time delay to 4 hours time delay to 2 hours time delay, because we don't want to send the added to cart, the abandoned cart email immediately the way that we send welcome flow. We want to have some time delay. Because it's weird. People just add product to the cart. If we send them an email immediately, it doesn't make sense. And then for this part, you want to change this to 22 hours to make sure that they're going to receive the second email at the same time of the day that they're probably on their phone. So I will click on the first email and I will click edit. So let's go back to Figma. These are our abandoned cart emails. I will use slice tool again. I will drag and drop a new slice. I will choose floating. And we need to make sure that we have separate slices so we can add the dynamic section here in this part. So I will create another duplicate for this slice, and I will cover other part of this email. But before exporting these slices, let me remove these two welcome emails to avoid confusion. I will hit export, and I will export them in my desktop. Again, we want to make sure that we compress these images before uploading, but for the sake of this video, I will just directly upload them into Klaviyo account. The cool thing about default abandoned cart flow in Klaviyo is that we have this dynamic section by default, so we don't have to create it ourselves. So if I click on preview, you can see that we have this product. We just need to add the other part of the email. So I will add an image here. I will upload the first slice, and I will scroll down, and I can add another image slice below this dynamic section. And we can upload our second slice here. I will remove this button. Let me just copy this link address because it's a dynamic link that leads people to the added to cart. So I will copy that and I will paste it here. I'll paste this link here, and I will remove this button. I will remove this default footer because we want to add our own footer. So I will click on universal, and I will add my footer section here as well. But there's an issue here. If I go to preview, you can see that the background for this dynamic section is different. It's white. Here's how we can change it. You can click on that dynamic section and go to styles and click on block background. And you can use the color picker and match the color with the other parts of the email. Also make sure to update the font color. I will choose edit in text block, and I will choose white color for this. We can decrease the text size to make sure the image is visible. And if I go to preview again, you can see that the background is updated and we can read the text as well. So this is how we implement the abandoned cart email. We can also update the subject line here, but let me update the other two emails in this flow. I will click on the second email, but I bet you want to make sure that you set these statuses to be live once you update your email designs. For now, I will keep them as draft because this is a test Shopify store and test Klaviyo store. So I will click on edit. I will remove all of these extra elements again. I will add an image. And now let's remove these previous slices from desktop and create new slices. But I will duplicate the old slices to make it faster. I just need to fit the slices here in the second email. I want to make sure I cover all of these parts, but for the first slice, let's see if we can bring this up here. Okay, I will select both and I will choose export again, and I will export them in my desktop. And I'll go back to Klaviyo and I will start uploading with the first one. I'll duplicate this. I'll put it below this section, and I will upload the second slice. Again, we can update the background color for this section. So I will choose it, and I will go to styles. I will choose background color, block background color, and I will choose this dark color here. And finally, I will add the footer, the special footer that we created. So I will add my footer, and they're done. We can go for the third email. So I'll go back to my abandoned cart flow structure, and I will add a time delay here. We can say 2 days time delay. And then I will just duplicate my first email. I will clone it, and I will drag and drop it here to make it easier, and we don't have to do everything from scratch. So I will remove this slices, and I will go back to Figma, and I will duplicate these slices again, and we want to make sure that we cover all of the sections, but the first section needs to be splitted here to create the dynamic section below this first section. And I will select both slices and I will export them again in my desktop. So I just need to update these images, the first image and the second image. This is actually faster because we don't have to put the footer again and we don't have to update the background color of this dynamic section. And if I go to preview, you can see that everything looks cool. We just need to update the text. So actually updating the link. So I will use this link here and this link, the same link here, and we're done. This is how we implement the abandoned cart flow in Klaviyo. Also, another thing about the triggers and the filters, you can click on trigger. If you want to create abandoned checkout separately, so if you want to create another flow with abandoned checkout trigger, you want to make sure that you have this filter here. But if you just want to go with the abandoned cart flow and you don't want to implement abandoned checkout, you can click on edit and remove this abandoned checkout filter and just leave the placed order. So this way, anyone who proceeds to checkout is going to receive these emails, and also other people who didn't proceed to checkout and they just added product to their cart, they're going to receive these emails. And finally, you can set these emails to be live. Okay, before implementing the browse abandonment emails in your Klaviyo account, I want you to do something. Go under analytics, go to metrics in Klaviyo, and then you can see all of the available triggers for your Klaviyo account. Like we have checkout started, I can search for cart, you can see that we have added to cart, or you can search for viewed product, which is responsible for browse abandonment flow, or you can even search for post-purchase flow. You can search for placed order trigger. And you can see that each of these triggers are going to be used for the corresponding email flow that we generated. For example, for the abandoned cart flow, this is the trigger. As you can see, we have like 40 to 50 people going through this trigger, and they're going to receive our welcome email, and they're going to receive our abandoned cart email if they don't finish their purchase. Here we have checkout started. Usually the number of people going through the checkout started trigger is going to be lower than added to cart. And this is the viewed product sessions, and as you can see, we have bigger numbers here compared to checkout started or added to cart. And finally, we have placed order, which is going to be the lowest number of sessions. And if we create a funnel, so let's say we have a funnel like this, at the very top we have viewed product, which is responsible for browse abandonment email flow. After that, we have added to cart. So this is added to cart trigger. After that, we have checkout started. So this is checkout. And finally, we have placed orders. So the more we go down the funnel, the less people are going to receive the emails based on the triggers. So we have more product views compared to number of people adding product to their carts. We have more people adding product to their cart compared to people proceeding to checkout and placing orders. Now let's go back and export or browse abandonment emails and implement them in Klaviyo. So again, I will duplicate my slices and I will put it right here for my browse abandonment emails. I want to make sure that I use the floating option. Because we have multiple product sections for browse abandonment, it's going to take more time to implement these flows. So I have the second slice, I can put it here. Maybe I can fit the first slice here. And then I will cover these other two parts of this email design like this. Another duplication, and we can cover the rest of the email. And now we can select all of the slices and export them in my desktop. I will remove these two older versions. And then we can go back to Klaviyo. We can go to Flows page. Again, I will click on Create Flow. Here, you can either search for browse abandonment, but as you can see, we have the browse abandonment default template here, and all of the triggers are activated. So I will call it test browse, and I will click on use template. So for the filters, we want to make sure that we filter out both added to cart sessions and checkout sessions. So we already are excluding the checkout sessions, place order sessions. I will add another filter and I will say what someone has done. The metric should be added to cart. I will choose that and I will choose 0 times since starting this flow, and I will save the trigger. The 2 hours time delay is good. I will select the first email and I will click edit so we can upload our images here. So as you can see, even on default template of Klaviyo, we have multiple options for other products. We have suggested product sections, but I will remove that because we have our own. So I'll delete all of these extra sections, same as before. And I'll add an image on top of this section. And now we can upload our images in order. I will add another one here. And you can clone this image and upload our product sections. Again, clone this, remove the image, and upload the other image of product. Again, I will duplicate it, and I will upload the rest of the image. And finally, I will add my beautiful footer. I will go to Universal, and I will add my footer here. This is actually another footer that I created. In the meantime, you can also add buttons in the footer, like category buttons and adding your logo. But now we just need to update the background color for this section. So I will go to styles, black background. No, that's not the option, black background color. And I will use color picker to choose this one, this color here. Yeah. I will select all of these texts and I will choose white color. Okay, looks cool. Now we can click preview and see how our email looks like. Also, you can do another thing here is you can check the sessions for different people by clicking on this arrow icon. You can see people visited different products on the website. And now you want to make sure that you use the link address. The link address should be this one. You can copy this event URL and paste it here. So people are going to be redirected to the corresponding product they visited on the website. Also for this product sections, you want to make sure that that you use the corresponding link address to these specific products. And once you're done, you can click exit, update the subject line, click done. I will clone this email to create the second one, and also I will clone it again to create the third email in this browse abandonment flow. And then I will add time delay. I'm gonna have 20 hours, 22 hours, the same as abandoned cart. You can also clone this time delay and add another one here before the third email. But we want to call this 1 day. Now let's export the second email and upload it in Klaviyo. So I will use the slice tool again. I will add a duplication and I will cover the first product in the email. I will add another one. And for this section, we need to create a split, just the same way we did for welcome email. And I will duplicate that. And I can duplicate both of these slices and cover the other parts of this email. And finally, we will cover the footer of the email. Now I will remove the current images in my desktop. I will select all of the slices and I will export the JPEG format in my desktop. So I will go back to Klaviyo. The second email, I will click on edit. And we can start updating these images. So I will start with the first one. We have a product section here, so I will upload that one as well. This is our product section. This is actually this product. After that, we're gonna add a split below this section. Also, let's make sure we remove these two images from last email. So I will choose image. Here I will choose image. Let's make sure that we pick the right product. This is the product in the left side. So I will upload this image. I will upload this image here. Oops, this is the right product for this section. I will upload this one as well. I will remove the gaps, zero padding, and I will turn off stacking. What do we have after that? We have the other two product images. So I will duplicate this split. I will remove the images. And I will start uploading the images on these two sections. So these are pants. Finally, we will add another image block here. And now we can upload the footer of our email. So this is actually the variable link that is going to lead people to the corresponding product page they visit on a website. And for this product pages, you want to make sure that you use the corresponding product links on your website. You shouldn't use the variable link for those sections. And once you're done, click exit, and we can go for the third email. Update subject line. And now let's create a slice for the final email. This is actually one slice export, so it should be much easier to do that. I will create a slice. I will export it as JPEG in my desktop. And I will go back to Klaviyo, click on the third email, and click edit. Actually, I forgot to create two slices for this email. I will show you how you can fix that without exporting it again. So I can just upload my exported slice here. Then we're going to use crop feature inside Klaviyo to fix that. So as you can see, this is a slice that covers all different sections of the email, but we need to have two different sections. So I will click on crop, and now we can actually crop the image. So we can just cover the first section, and then we can show the dynamic section of the email. So I will click save. I will click on duplicate, and I will put it down here. Again, I will click crop. And then I will delete this image and I will upload it again. And now we can crop out the first section. So I will click crop, and then I will scroll all the way to the top. And this is how we can crop our image slice. And as you can see, everything looks cool now. We can add the links, same as the step 2, and updating subject line, and click done. Okay, this is how we implement browse abandonment flow. Again, if you want to set it live, you can click on this drop down and set all of these emails to be live. Now let's see how we can implement the post-purchase flow. So I will go back to flows, and then I will come back into Figma. I will use the slice tool again, and I will cover the entire email. So the whole purpose of this email is to track orders, so we don't have to export this as separate sections. So I will cover the entire email, and I will click on export. I will add it on my desktop. Now we have the first post-purchase email exported. Now we can go back to Klaviyo and click on create flow, click on top right corner, and search for post. You can see the post-purchase follow-up here. You want to make sure that you choose the one that has email icon. So there are many ways to implement the post-purchase email flow. The first way to do that is to create a simple post-purchase flow, and we can send the same email to everyone, no matter how many times they have already bought from our website. But the more professional way to do that is we can define a conditional split and see whether the person is buying our product for the first time or more than once. And based on that, we can send more personalized messages in every email. For example, if someone bought from our website for the third time, for the first time, we want to send them like a VIP type of language, and it's going to make it more professional and more personalized. So if you want to do that, you can go through this email flow. And as you can see, we have multiple conditional splits here. But in this case, we'll just go with this simple flow because we have only 3 emails. And I will call it test post purchase. And I will use this template. So now we have our email here. I will click on edit. I will remove all of these elements. I can remove the entire section. And I will click this part as well, and I will add an image here, and I can upload my image slice here. And you can link this email to your order tracking app, depending on what app you're using. Also, you want to make sure that you use the same footer here again, and I will remove this extra element from here. And once you add your link here, you can click exit, and we can go for the second and third email. So I will clone this first one, and I will create another clone, and I will add the time delays. The first time delay, the first one goes out actually after 1 day, so I will add the 1 day time delay here for the first email. The second one should have been sent after 9 days. So I will clone this time delay, and I will paste it here. I will say 9 days. I will clone it again, and here we can say 14 days. So this is actually the email that we are asking for people to buy for the next time. And we want to make sure that we don't send this third email in a short time frame. Okay, now let's export the second and third email, and then we can upload it into Klaviyo. So I will use the same slice here. I will duplicate it, put it here, cover the entire email, and I will export it in my desktop. Go back to Klaviyo, click edit. I can remove this image because it's a duplicated version of the email one, and I can upload the new one. You can use the same link here. Actually, here we want to use the link to the corresponding product. So we should click on this image, and you can put this link here. Let me add the link here so you can take a screenshot if you want to do that. So you can just take a screenshot from this, and you can put it in ChatGPT and ask for the text, and then you can use this as the link. So once people click on this image, they're going to be redirected to the product that they bought from your website, so they can leave the review. And after that, I will click exit. Now we can go for the third email in the post-purchase flow. So I will add my slices here. Because we have multiple product sections here, we want to make sure that we cover those separately. So I will create another slice. I'll hit Control D to create another slice here and another one. So we have 4 different slices for this email. I will remove this image from my desktop, and once you select all of the slices, you can export them as a JPEG. So I will go back to my Klaviyo account. I will select on the third email. I will click edit. And now we can start uploading our images here. So I'll remove the first one. I'll add this here. I will duplicate it. Remove the image, add the first product. Again, duplicate the image and upload the other product. And finally, we're going to upload the final slice of our email. So because the purpose of this email is to push people to buy another product, you can also give them discount, like 10%, 20% discount, which is going to be more effective. So you can use the website homepage link for this email. Or a better way to do that is you can use your collection page or bestseller collection page. It's gonna convert better. But in this case, I will just use the main website link. And you can also use the corresponding product page links for those two product sections. And finally, I will click exit. And I will click done. Okay, this is how we implement the email flows in our Klaviyo account. In the next section, we're going to talk about segments and how to implement campaigns into Klaviyo and how to design campaigns using Claude design this time. We're not going to use Figma design for email campaigns. Okay, now let's talk about email campaigns. Email campaigns allow you to make money from your email list on demand. Your email list actually includes people who either bought from your website or they provided their email via the Popup form that we showed them in previous modules. So we send email campaigns to our email list and we make money. Easy as that. Unlike email flows that required one-time setup, email campaigns need to be designed every single time. So we use the following steps that we already covered in the previous module in order to make the process easy and consistent. So we're gonna generate the copy with Claude, and then we're gonna use Google Calendar to save the email copies. And then we're gonna use Figma or Claude design to generate the emails. And finally, we'll export every single email campaign into our Klaviyo account. But in this case, we're gonna use Claude design instead of Figma, because we already used Figma to generate email flows. Now we're going to use Claude to have some different output for our email designs. The fact that email campaigns are not one-time setup like email flows doesn't make it less effective. Actually, 50% of your email sales should come from your email campaigns. And here you can see the results for the email campaigns that I sent for one of my email marketing clients. And you can see how much each of these email campaigns are generating: $10,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000. And you can easily send 1 to 3 email campaigns per week and generate a lot of money. But you want to make sure you have enough people in your email list. You should have at least 5,000 to 6,000 active subscribers into your email list. But if you have a high converting pop-up form on a website, you can grow your email list very fast. There are 2 main categories of email campaigns. One of them is considered to be promo emails, and the other one is non-promo emails. Here are some examples of these emails. This one is a promo email. The main focus of the email should be around the offer, like this offer that we are giving away 3 products for only $69, or you can give 10%, 20% discount, or any other type of offers. And the whole frame of these promo emails should be around the offer. You can also add other stuff, other information about your product, but the main focus should be around the offer. And the other type of emails is non-promo emails. In this type of campaigns, our main focus is not to give offers or like discounts or buy one, get 2 free. We don't want to do that. The main focus is to give value to customers. And there are different things that we can cover in non-promo emails. For product launches, you can follow Alex Hormozzi's framework, which starts with teasing the product and then launching the product, and finally you can give a final chance to buy the product. Also, we have other type of email campaigns as non-promo emails, like answering common questions, sharing customer reviews, product features, talking about product features, certain customer pain points. And let me show you a few examples here. This email is a product launch email, and we are talking about new colors of this specific product that we had on our website, and we are talking about the features of this product here, and so on. Also, on this one, we are focusing on a certain pain point for the audience. Because this is a creatine gummy brand, the old solution for getting creatine is creatine powder. That's why we are focusing on the pain point, and we are telling people that you don't need to have a shaker anymore, and we are directly comparing these creatine gummies with powder creatine. And there are endless campaign ideas. You can ask Claude for campaign ideas. We already did that in last module. And once you find the angles that you want to create a campaign for, you can save them on your Google Calendar and then use the copy to generate the email designs using AI. The format of every single email design could be either designed, which is all of these 3 emails here, or it could be a text-only email. Here you can see an example of text-only email. Design emails makes it easy for customers to understand the content of the email without reading too much text. But text-only emails are effective for certain use cases. Like whenever you want to make a personal touch with your customers. Let me give you some examples. Final chance promo emails, like you just launched a product or you just offered a special discount. After a few days, you can give the final chance with a text-only email. This type of email usually look like this. And people think that this email is actually coming from the CEO of the brand or someone manually send them this email. And that makes it so effective for making conversions. And this is you, by the way, and you should imagine that you're sending emails manually to the customer. Okay, it takes us to segmentations. Let's see what is segmentations and how it can help us to reach into the inbox instead of the spam folder. In order to get good engagement with our emails, we need to make sure that the right people receive our emails. We can break down our email list into multiple segments based on customer engagement level. So let's say this big circle is your whole email list. Let's say we have 10,000 people in the entire email list. But not every single person in your email list is considered to be an engaged customer. So if you send an email to the entire list, you'll get like 20% open rate, which is not a good thing to do because if you keep getting 20% open rate, inbox providers will land your emails in spam by the time. So instead of sending email to the entire email list, we will start sending emails to a very narrow and engaged segment of our email list. Let's say we can define a segment in Klaviyo and find people who open an email at least 2 times in the last 30 days. If you send email to these people, we'll get like 60 or 70% open rate. And this allows us to reach to the inbox every single time. But there's a problem with this. We can't always send email to very engaged segments of our email list because you can't sell the same thing to the same people every single time. So we need to reach out to bigger segments of our email list. So if we get 60 to 70% open rates for the most engaged segment of our email list, we can expand our segment by the time to bigger part of our email list, like last 90 days email openers or last 180 days email openers. And this way we can maintain a good open rate while we make good number of sales every time. Okay, let's go back to Claude and let's generate some campaign ideas so we can turn the copy into design using Claude Design. So I will provide my brand book just the same way that we did for email flows. And I will ask for, give me some email campaign ideas using the brand book. By the way, we are going to make these email campaigns for this website that we already created some designs in module 2. And let's see what type of email campaign ideas we can get from Claude. And then we'll save it in Google Calendar again, and we'll turn some of those email copies into designs. So here's a few examples here. A never miss a day habit campaign, listen consistently, pillar frame C most ritual. I think this one could do the job. So I can choose the campaigns I like to have the copies for. I will choose the second one. I will choose the third one. Fourth, live closer than you think. Oh, discovery, Toronto. Okay, we can choose the sixth one. And also this educational FAQ, I think this one is a good thing to have, especially as we have the FAQ. We usually want to answer common questions inside email. It makes it very effective. So I will say, write me copy for each of those ideas. And also I need to feed Claude with the copywriting instructions that we had here. So I will take a screenshot and I will go back to Claude. And I will say, follow the instructions I attached. So we have the copies generated. Before saving those copies into Google Calendar, I need to remove the old ones from here. So I will remove all of these email campaigns. And okay, now that I have deleted all of those email campaigns, I can go back here. And let's see, what are these email copies saying? So never miss a day, subject line still on the focus, consistently 3 ways. So I think they look good. So let me ask, now go through calendar connection and save these email campaigns. 1 to 3 campaigns per week. for the next few weeks. Actually, creating email campaigns used to be a tedious and hard thing to do in the past because you needed to generate email campaigns and then save them somewhere, maybe on Google Doc, and finally going into Figma and designing it from scratch. And it used to take a lot of time. But now we are using this workflow to generate like 1 month of email campaigns in just half an hour. So I can go back to my calendar, and as you can see, we have all of the email copies saved here. Now we can go to Claude Design and use the copy to generate some email campaigns. So I want to make sure that I follow the same design system that I've created in Module 2. Just to do a quick overview, this is our design system. It's about the logo, spacing, colors, and things like that. So I will choose that design system, and I will use one of these copies to generate the email design. I'll write the copy here, and I will ask for an email design. Design me email campaign with the copy I provided. Or we can ask for 2 campaigns at a time. So I can copy another email campaign text, and instead of saying an email design, I can say design me 2 email campaigns with the copies I provided. Let me change the model template. And yeah, let's see how the design looks like. Okay, the design is almost ready here. One thing about Claude Design is it finds better images to use. Actually, it used the website images that we provided. But Figma usually creates some AI slop images that you always need to replace it. But anyways, let's see how the final output looks like. Okay, these are our email campaigns. I can click on edit and I can change some of these images. So let me zoom out. I can change this image. So I will select that and I will go back to their website. This is their website. So let me pick an image. I think we can choose this one. So I will save it in my desktop. And now we can upload the image here. I'll click on upload, and this is the image. We can also remove this green overlay layout. And if I increase the height of this section like this, I think it looks much better this way. Also, this logo doesn't look good, so let me actually find their logo. I have their logo in my desktop, so I will click on the SVG format, and as you can see, this one looks much better. I can do the same thing with this image, or I can just copy paste the logo here. And also let's change the background color to this green color. I think it looks a bit better. Right, these are two email campaigns here. I can now select, I can now click on share and click on more formats and click on PNG, and I will save this. And now we can choose the entire frame. So this is the entire frame. I will download the PNG, and we can download the other email as well. So I will click PNG and select the entire frame, and I will click on download PNG. Now let's see how we can upload these email campaigns into Klaviyo. So I'm back in my Klaviyo account, and in the left panel, I will click on campaigns, and I will create a new campaign. I will select on single channel, and we can call it test, and click continue. Here's where we select the segment that we talked about in Figma, these segments. But now I will choose a random segment, and after that we can talk about how to create email segments and use the right segment. So, so let me just upload the email campaign here. I will click on a message. I will write a random subject line and I will click on create. Just the same way as uploading email flows, I will remove any extra elements from this section. I can also remove this one, and I can add an image block here. And now we can upload our email design. We can also compress the image before uploading it, but because I already showed you how you can do that, I will just directly upload the email campaign here. So we just need to remove this bottom section because we can't include this unsubscribe button and buttons in this image. So I will click crop and we can exclude that part and click save. But we need to have our own footer. So I will go to universal and I will add the text section that we generated in the last section of the video. Now we need to link our campaign to our website. So depending on what is the goal of the email campaign, if you're specifically talking to about a certain product, you want to make sure that you link the email into that product page. But if you're giving some general value, you can link it to your homepage or category page. Now let's make sure the email looks good on mobile as well. And as you can see, it looks good here as well. Just the same way as we uploaded email flows, you can send a test email to your own inbox to make sure the email looks good. And once you're done, you can click next, and in the next step, you can schedule your email campaign. You can click on schedule or send. Now in this right panel, you can either send now or schedule your email campaign. I suggest to choose this recipient's time zone instead of picking a static global time zone. This way we can make sure that people receive our email campaign in a specific time of the day. Also, instead of choosing round numbers for the time of the day, like 10:20 p.m., 10:20 a.m., you can say 10:21 a.m. because if you choose 10:20 a.m., probably other brands are also sending emails in that round number. But if you say 10:21 a.m., your email won't overlap with theirs. And then you can click schedule and your email is going to be scheduled. So in Klaviyo, in the left panel, you can hover your mouse over this people icon and then click on list and segments. Now here you can click on create segments. So let's start by creating last 30 days 2-time email openers. So I will call it test 30 days 2 times openers. And the first condition should be if someone can receive email marketing. This is the first condition. After that, we'll add another one. You want to make sure you select and, not or. And then we will select what someone has done. Here, search for opened email. It says at least once, but you want to say is at least 2 times in the last 30 days. So as you can see, we only have 70 people in this segment because in this account, we have never sent any emails to people. That's why the number is very low. But in your case, if you've been sending some emails or if you start sending some emails, the number should be around 1,000, 2,000 if you have like 8,000 people in your email list. So this is how you can create the most engaged segment for your email list. But if you want to make it more accurate, you can add more conditions, like we can see if they have clicked on an email, because in some mailboxes like Apple mailbox, the open rate is not being tracked correctly. So I will search for clicked email, make sure this one is set to or, and say is at least 2 times in the last 30 days. And then you can create your segment. And if you want to create other segments, let's say we want to create last 90 days openers, we can change the numbers here to be is at least 1 times in the last 90 days. Also, we can say 1 time in the last 90 days here. And you can do the same thing for last 180 days. And if you want to send an email to the entire list, you can also define the segment. Especially if you have multiple email lists, you can create a main segment for that, and this is actually the segment that includes all of the people in your email list. You just have to set this condition that people can receive email marketing, and as you can see, we have 7,400 people in this segment. You can also create other segments of people, like anyone who placed order more than 2 times, so you can consider those people to be VIP, and then you can send them special discounts and things like that. Let's create a VIP segment. So I will select and I will select what someone has done, and I will search for placed order is at least 2 times, and here I will say overall time. This way you can create a segment including VIP people, and let's see how you can use these segments for your campaign. So I will go back to my campaign, and here I can search for the campaign that I just created. Like, let's say this is a last 30 days, 2 times openers, but because I changed the definition, I should call it VIP now. And I will click on create segment. And now I can go back to my campaign. I will refresh the page. And here I will search for the segment that I just created. And as you can see, we have the same number of people here, 265 people in this segment, which is what we defined here, 265. And then you can schedule your email campaign. Okay, let's start module 5, which is the final module in this tutorial. So sending email campaigns and setting up the flows are not enough anymore because almost all of your competitors are doing the same thing, either using AI or doing it manually. They're still sending all of these emails into their email list. And the key is to squeeze the most juice out of your email list, whether through flows or email campaigns. Understanding this module and implementing the strategy is the key to make 5K instead of 1K from every single email campaign that you send. It's the key to make $50,000 a month through your email flows instead of $5,000. But this part of email marketing used to be very hard and technical in the past. But now we're going to use and leverage Claude to easily analyze the performance of the email campaigns and email flows and other aspects of email marketing. It's going to take us 5 minutes to find out what type of campaigns are working the best on our email list, what email flows are performing the best, so we can add more emails into those flows and using the email campaigns that are outperforming others more often. And we can track everything about our email campaigns. It doesn't matter if you want to know what is the best day of the week to send email campaigns or what is the best time of the day to send your email campaigns to your email list. So in this module, we're going to follow these 4 simple steps to improve the performance of our email campaigns and email flows. The first step is to set up the accounts, but because we already covered this step and we set up our Klaviyo account and connected our Claude account to Klaviyo, we can easily go to our Claude account and ask for a quick campaign performance through Klaviyo connection. And as you can see, we have a quick overview on the performance of our email campaigns here. We can also ask for graphs. So I can say, visualize the performance of email campaigns and flows through Klaviyo connection. Show it as graph. And as you can see, we have clear insight on the performance of email campaigns and email flows, visualized in perfect graphs like this. So you can see the performance of the email campaigns here in this graph. This one didn't perform very well. This one performed the best. And this $0.5 is actually the revenue generated per recipients, because it's important what part of your email list this email campaign is sent to. And also for the email flows, we have abandoned cart flow here, we have welcome flow here. And as you can see, abandoned checkout flow has the highest revenue per recipients. We have $56 per recipients. And we have other flows. So this is how you can decide which email worth to invest more time and add more emails into that flow. For example, by using this information, we know that we can add more emails into abandoned checkout flow. It worth to invest some time and design more emails, and maybe we can add a text-only email into this flow, because you can see that we have a very high potential for more revenue on this flow. And in terms of email campaigns, you can see that we have this email here called Independence Day email campaign. And we can track the angle that we covered in that specific email campaign, and then we can do more of those type of email campaigns in future. So this is how we improve the performance of our email campaigns. We'll read the data from Klaviyo from all of the email campaigns that we send to our email list. Also, we can read the data from the email flows. And then when we are trying to write the campaign calendar for the next 30 days, we will use that data to have better email campaigns. And we can follow the winning campaigns angles to create these new email campaign ideas. And then we'll export it into Klaviyo. So in step 2, there are a few things that we can do. First of all, if we find that a specific email campaign performed the best, for example, this specific email campaign, we can take this and plug it into our welcome email. So let me go back to the flows section. So we can take that email campaign. Let's say that we send this email campaign to our email list and it outperformed other email campaigns. So then we can take this email campaign and plug it into our welcome email, welcome flow. This is how we can generate even more from every single email flow instead of just guessworking and finding some random ideas to create content for our email flows. And also for the email flows that you see high potential, you can add more emails to those specific email flows. So this is how we can squeeze more juice out of our email flows. And then for the email campaigns, I already talked about that. Once you find out that one of the email campaigns is outperforming others, you can do more of that in the future. So we're going to use Claude to read the performance of every single email campaign through Klaviyo, right? But we can't read the content of emails through Klaviyo in Claude, if that makes sense. But there's a workaround. We can read the content through the campaign calendar that we generated for the last month. You see what I mean? So once you find out that, for example, this email campaign outperformed others, you also have access to your campaign calendar. So you can find the name here through Claude without even leaving the Claude and read the content of that email. And then Claude can understand why that specific email performed the best. So in future, it can generate more of those angles for the email campaigns. So this is how you can create better campaigns by the time. So the last step would be plugging in the winning email campaigns into email flows and running A/B tests on the email flows that are outperforming other email flows. So let me go back to this graph here. So for example, if we see that we are getting a lot of money from abandoned checkout, we can run A/B tests specifically for the first 1 to 3 emails in this flow. And finally, we will replicate the winning campaign for future email campaigns that we just talked about. All right, thanks for watching this video. If you find value in this course, make sure to share it with your friends and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any question, feel free to ask it in comments. I will answer all of my comments. See you on the future videos.